Proud of our students, proud of our graduates. You're watching the Westminster Cable Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bury Stadium as the 2-1 Bethany Bison are coming into town to take on the 2-1 Westminster Titans. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me, Scott Renninger, Scott Benzel's coach for Westminster Titans. And this is a game that a lot of people have been very excited for, especially considering the Bethany Bison have a shot this year.
Bethany is off to the best start they've had in several seasons. They have a rather experienced squad back. I think we counted beforehand, Tyler, they traveled about 57, 58 young men with them. Talking with Coach Benzel and the staff yesterday, a lot of speed, a lot of physicality, a lot of agility, and a lot of athleticism. And as we were watching things out there in their warm-ups and that, they certainly exhibit that. So this will be a test, both obviously offensively and defensively. And unlike 2 weeks ago when the Titans were at Waynesburg, there's no rain today.
Yeah. There's no rain today. It is going to be a fantastic day. We'll get to that later, actually. We're going to talk about the weather because it's finally not 90 degrees anymore. But this is a team, Bethany coming in. They've been dominant in the run game, specifically Raekwon Wright. Last week they had a 22-13 victory, of course, against Waynesburg. He rushed for almost 150 yards, and it should be interesting because you figure Raekwon Wright has been doing phenomenal for them, but then you realize that last week against St. Vincent, the Westminster Titans held them to 27 yards rushing.
Well, I think from my perspective, Tyler, number one, you never look at last week when you're coaching. We look at it to compare and things like that. We're a very good defense. We're a very good offense. This young man is an exceptional running back. Exactly what Ben said, speed, agility, physical ability to cut. His eyesight, his vision apparently, or quite obviously, is very, very good. So this is what's enabling him. However, it's up to those big guys up front to give him some seams to get through. It's up to our big men and our linebackers to deny them those seams. Hit, shed, get to the football.
A little bit more the bottom one.
Get rid of your man, make plays, stuff up holes. Don't over pursue, don't lose contain.
And especially whenever it comes to the Westminster defense, you figure they do have phenomenal play stoppers, one of them being inside linebacker Paul Gonzalez. In fact, he was named the D3 Player of the Week, and as well as featured on the D3 Team of the Week due to his phenomenal stops last week.
What a start Gonzalez has had. I was fortunate to accompany Dr. B down at Springfield when Wittenberg game, and quite frankly, I was more looking towards Miguel Luis and some of the other players, and Gonzalez Paul has just had a wonderful start, 3 games, and so it's not a flash in the pan, obviously. He's prepared himself in the fitness center, lifting, mentally. He's in the right spot at the right time, and that's what's crucial, those linebackers.
Yeah. And if Bethany cannot get anything going in the run game, they, of course, can turn to Dom Salinetro, their quarterback, which they don't really go to him much. Last week, he was 9 for 17, had a touchdown and an interception. So, of course, this team is very much a run-first team, quarterback second.
Hurry him. That's what Waynesburg did last week. Apparently, I didn't see any film, but apparently that's what they did last week. Didn't give him time to set up 9 of 17, things like that, because he has receivers. And I don't know that they throw to their running backs out of the backfield, things like that. But he's a very good quarterback. Hence the 2-1 start.
Yeah, and for Westminster's run game, I mean, where do you start? Really, whenever you go to them, you've got Bryce Hill, you've got Shimon Walker, who, alternates between quarterback and running back. You have Keanu Reeves, or Keanu Rice, so a lot of different playmakers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got a very well-balanced offense. They follow Rich DeMayo very closely. Rich is a wonderful offensive coordinator, by the way, and we've got players. They have players, we have players. This should be a good football game. And let me just add too, though, because I'm sure it's not lost on anybody, Tyler, who comes into Bury Stadium next Saturday evening. Forget it. That makes no difference. If we're not successful today in executing, and if we are successful in executing, I do believe things should take care of themselves, then next week's just next week.
Yeah, certainly. And, of course, the quarterback situation for Westminster, Augustus Nicastro was actually the transfer from Slippery Rock.
Exactly.
He's been actually playing with an injured hand. Can you elaborate more on that?
He got banged up down at Wittenberg, and he wears a soft cast all week long, I've noticed, and that doesn't hinder him. It's on the left hand. He's right-handed, and it won't be on today because we take some shotgun snaps, so both hands have to be flexible and usable. But, he's shaking it off. In fact, he played the whole game pretty much. We put Shawan in for a couple plays to run the football down Wittenberg, but not so much to throw. The Castro is our quarterback to begin with.
And of course, Westminster has a ton of threats. In fact, we were talking about this in pregame. You've got Javon Hardy, you've got Bryson Pollinelli, you've got Joey Joy, and Javon Hardy, of course, had an injury last year.
Javon has bounced back. The big question was, how's he going to be mentally? He's bounced back. I've got every confidence that if we can protect Nicastro up front, give him time to read 1, read 2, read 3, whatever it takes, watch for Hardy. And Javon has bounced back and feel very good about it.
Emily Bondi will be working the sidelines today for us. Now, Bethany head coach Bill Garvey is in the 6th season of tenure for the Bethany Bison, and he believes that this is actually his most confident squad yet. Emily has more.
Yeah, Tyler, you are correct. Bill Garvey is currently 2-0 in the PAC, entering his 6th season with the 17 wins and 23 losses in the PAC. The last time Westminster did play the Bethany Bison, they did lose 14-41. However, Bill Garvey should feel confident entering today's game with a very fast and confident squad. Tyler?
We will now take a moment to honor America. And that national anthem, of course, was performed by the Westminster Marching Band. It's Bethany and Westminster here on your home of the Titans, WCN.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium as the Westminster Titans are about to take on the Bethany Bison. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me, Scott Renninger. Scott, we've been talking, in pregame about all the aspects, of this team, as Scooter is having a wonderful time sitting here.
Am I supposed to be standing? Pardon me.
But again, this game is going to be a good one. Bethany, previous years, have been dominated by Westminster. Last year Westminster won 41-14, and they've really been on a roll every single year that they play each other. And this is the year, as Emily said, Bill Garvey thinks that this is the time, this is the moment for them to win.
That's why it's nice to be playing in New Wilmington, playing our home opener, a new locker room, on familiar Titan turf, even though it's artificial. And they're a very good football team. You take them, and this is a cliche, I hate this, but you really do take them one at a time, Tyler, and you prepare all week long in that, and you sit and focus when you just reminisce a bit. I never looked at an opponent's film other than the immediate one. It was more of just a habit I had, but I didn't like to look at the other team when anything clouding my vision with what we were going to face, my blocking schemes, the things that we were going to try to employ during that game, adjustments that we might have to make. Well, if they're aligning here, if they're aligning there, things like that. So, don't look ahead.
What do you think head coach Scott Benzel is thinking for Westminster? He's coming into his 5th year. Bill Harvey, of course, we said earlier, coming into his 6th year. But Scott Benzel, he comes in, goes to back-to-back James Lina Bowls, could have went to a 3rd one last year, but actually declined the invitation, decided to not go. What do you think his plans are this year?
Come out of the starting blocks. We played an outstanding team in Springfield, Ohio, the opener, Wittenberg. He scheduled that for a purpose. If you're going to be the best, this is a quote, if you're going to be the best, play the best, end quote. That's the thing. Now, there are several different philosophies you can, take the how do you to schedule, things like that, but we only get one non-conference game anymore, and so, he wanted to challenge the kids. And when you get a challenge, as you well know, Tyler, you either step up and meet it, or you don't meet it. And I know Dr. B asked me what did I attribute the success of the Westminster coming alive. I think our character came out to shine. And here we're getting ready to go out for the toss right now, Tyler. So we want to chart that, and we're pretty well assured the team that wins the toss will defer. I don't even know why we go through some of these things anymore. But anyway, that way you have the choice second half. Well, more times than not, you're not going to give the other team the football twice, beginning of the game and at halftime, start of the second half. So, we're going to find out here. The referee and the back judge and the side judge are down there, and the umpire and another back judge are on the other side. Our captains, by the way, are number 21. That would be Bryce Hill. Our returner, number 75. That is Jordan Cominos. And I know that name well because his dad played for us, was an offensive lineman no less, a number of years ago, and Jordy has come in and picked up the legacy for his dad. Number 2, Bill Madeja, our tremendous receiver, and number 10. And I'm looking quickly here trying to find things, and I'm not seeing the 10 I want. I think that's Keanu Grice. We were actually talking in pregame about this. We weren't sure if he was number 1 or number 10. He was kind of alternated on the roster. And I'm still not sure. We have an offensive 10 and a defensive 10, or 1. We know that Miguel Luis defensively is number 1. and we list just one 10 there. Well, they could. Well, you know who that is. That's ridiculous. We just talked about it. That's Paul Gonzalez. You know that. I apologize to our audience. You know how ignorant that was to not know, because he's off, and there we go. They're standing on sides. The referee is explaining the call. Bethany, of course, will make the call heads or tails. He's showing them the call right now, or the coin. And they're going to call it before he flips it. And there's the flip, and he is facing to Bethany.
And it appears Bethany has won. No, Westminster have won, I believe. Let's check. No, Bethany won the toss. Chose to receive. Wow.
Exactly opposite of what I was just discussing. They want the football. There you go, Ty. That's what they think about their offensive machine. Right there. They want the football.
And we'll see what Dom Salinetro, the quarterback for Bethany, as we talked about earlier, can do in combination with Raekwon Wright. And it's funny, you were just talking about how teams usually choose to kick. And you know, you go back to the early 2000s, you would constantly receive, and it would be thought of as an outlier to choose to kick. What was the factor that actually made that change for the rest of...
They have confidence in that offensive unit. They've got big-time confidence in that offensive unit. And they want them on the field right now. They want to set the pace. They want to set the pace, Ty, would be my thought. And here they come. The Titans are already on the field. Our kickoff team is ready. And they're getting out there. But I think that is a very, very distinct start at the coin toss. They want the football. And they've done some good things with it. They lost their opener. Now they're on a 2-game roll, just as the Titans.
It'll be interesting once we reach the third quarter of this game. Westminster have outscored their opponents 23-2 in the third quarter, outscored 21-35 in the fourth. And this is a team that just got things going in the first half last week at St. Vincent. Previously, they had a lot of trouble scoring in the first half altogether, the Titans did.
We've come out of our starting blocks kind of slow. In fact, we kind of alluded to it down at Wittenberg. It was 20-0 before the Titans cinched up their belts and got their poise and confidence and drive back and started going. But like I mentioned on the radio at that game, I think the Titan character, the character of our young men came out. And here we are. We're going to kick from the middle of the field. We have 4 defenders to our right and 5 to the left, or 6 to the left.
And there we go. It's the beginning of the home opener for the Westminster Titans, fielded at about the 20-yard line, heading upfield to about the 24-yard line is the return man for Bethany.
34.
Raekwon Wright.
And they're going to have the ball on almost the 35-yard line. And that was a short kick. That was a short kick. And I don't think it was intentionally short. I just don't think he got enough leg and foot into it, perhaps.
That was Dylan Kidder who actually had the kickoff there in place of John Syback.
And we don't know any stories there. And even if I had talked to this coaching staff about anything, I don't think we would have mentioned anything earlier, especially about that. And here they are. 3 receivers to the field.
Here's a quick screen pass to the left side of Raekwon Wright. And Wright breaking tackles for about a 6 to 7 yard gain. Great first play for Bethany.
Very quick. That wide receiver screen, little screen out there. 2 receivers in front of the football, in front of the catch. Now the ball is going to start on the left hash, the offensive left, and it would be to the north if you're familiar with Berry Stadium, or away from the lake. Bethany going towards the lake.
2nd and 4. Salinetro in the shotgun. Here's a fake handoff, a pitch to the right side. Caught across the field along the right sideline.
Neat play. It looked like that might be it was going to be a sweep. Then he lateraled the ball back to the running back, and he pulled up, and they were running a streak down the sideline, a straight shot down the sideline, and brought a receiver from the opposite side, the short side, across the field and through to the underneath receiver.
Hunter Klein was the one who made that reception. Now Bethany in 2 plays is at the 50-yard line. Salinetro again in the shotgun. Here's another screen pass to Raekwon Wright, but he's going to be stopped in the backfield.
Number 7.
Marvin Liberiste wanted to make the tackle. Marvin actually had a game-sealing interception 2 weeks ago. It was a touchback at the end of the game. Wouldn't really have mattered as they were up, I think, by 14, but fantastic, performance and great motivation for Scott Benzel to see his defense, come up with a pick in that game at the 7-yard line.
Oh, absolutely. Give.
Here's a handoff.
Give. And look at that. Number 43 was right in on top of the play. Number 43, Austin Chin, our junior defensive end, got into the backfield and hit the blocker, the lead blocker, before he even got a chance, and the running back had no opportunity whatsoever.
So after getting things going very quickly on 2 plays to the 50, now Bethany faces a 3rd and 13 at their own 47. We'll see if Westminster can get a big stop here to get the ball.
Now the rush. Okay.
Salinetro rolls left. Another screen pass to Raekwon Wright, who tries a stiff arm, but a great tackle.
Play out there. Stayed right on him, kept his eye on Wright's back, on belt buckle, and made an excellent play.
Travis Loster, the one to make that tackle. And Travis Loster had an interception last week that set up Westminster's first score of the game, and now Bethany are going to have to punt.
That was a one-on-one tackle against that slick running back of Bethany's. Now we're going to take a close look at this punt here. They have 2 out to the wide side of the field and kind of a traditional 3 deep back there. Good snap. Oh boy.
Kick almost blocked. Fielded at the 12-yard line by Pollinelli. Pollinelli heads upfield.
Good job.
Gets to the 25-yard line, and that is where Westminster will set up shop.
Now that kick was off in 2.25 seconds, which is a little long, but if you notice, once again, as we noted during their warm-ups, he's a 3-step punter. Kind of came to the right a little bit in that. We were very close on that one, and hopefully we'll get a good look at that again. And see, now we're in 1 back with Twins to the wide side of the field, to the right.
Nicastro starts out with a quick screen pass, just like Bethany did, and the ball is caught for about a 7-yard gain. A great first play.
Javon Hardy, I believe.
Yeah, that was Javon Hardy, who, of course, we said before, coming back this year after a horrific injury last year.
We have a penalty here. Roughing the passer. We're going 15 more yards on top of a good play. That netted, I'm going to say, 8 yards, 8 to 9, and we're going down 15 more. We're going to be at our 48-yard line. Talk about very good field position. Here it is.
This is exactly what Westminster wants to do. Of course, starting off with a screen pass, let's see what they do for their second play of the game. Nicastro in the shotgun. Does a quick pass, and now he's under pressure, gets sacked. He tried to have a quick throw to the right, but there was no one there.
Let me get that young man, 17. Get his number there, number 17. I believe it was 17. Good.
That was Trayvon Charles for Bethany. And you can see Bryce Hill is extremely angry right now for Westminster. He seemed to know that play was going to be busted prior to it happening.
I take that back. I think that was number 13, Colin Johnston. I called a bad number there.
Nicastro hands it off to Hill up the middle. Hill gets about a 2-yard gain, so they will face a quick 3rd down after the roughing the passer penalty.
Yes, and after a good first play and then a penalty on top of it, that's just how fragile every play is. One play doesn't make a game, as we always say. One person doesn't do that, but that's how fragile that was, that loss of 2 yards. We've only gained 1 back now, so we're 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11.
Motion.
Puts Connor Cox in motion to the left side. Nicastro drops back to pass. Plenty of time. Fires across the middle. Incomplete as Pollinelli got sandwiched between 2 players.
And Pollinelli's just a little slow getting up there. Just a little slow getting up. It was a nice catch, but boy, he got popped right now, Tyler, right now. Good hit. Kind of stripped him, and he was not able to hang on. And so that must have been a heck of a hit down there, because Bryson Paulinelli does not drop footballs.
No, he got hit from the top and the bottom, had his knees taken out, was very worrisome there. That was a brutal tackle. Luckily, he was able to get up. So now Westminster facing 4th and 11, have to punt, and it's, oh my goodness, it's snapped over the head of the punter, running all the way back to the 10-yard line, trying to head upfield, and now some room to run. Now he chooses to run backwards, throws it into the ground to Connor Cox, and that play will be blown dead.
And it should come back up here to the where the 4th down play took place. It should come back up here. And then just move those sticks a little bit there. Had he gone down back there, that was an extremely heads-up play by Connor Cox, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, Dawson Porter was the one who recovered it. He was the punter on that play, the freshman.
Porter, rather. That was extremely heads up, because had he taken a knee, just fallen on the ball, he had a little room, and the ball would have turned over down there wherever he was caught. This way he came back up, threw a pass. Obviously, anybody was downfield illegally, because we were all back there trying to protect him, so there was no fine. So the ball sits at the 47-yard line, the Westminster 47, but it could have been back at the 20 or so.
Both teams not able to get anything going on their first drive of the game. Bethany now having their second drive. We'll see what Salinetro can do in the shotgun, and a timeout is called by Bethany already in the first quarter.
I wonder whether somebody's getting chewed up. Somebody is getting chewed out over there. I don't know whether they were misaligned. The way their one coach is approaching the huddle, it occurs to me that they were misaligned. It wasn't our defensive alignment that confused them. Something in their alignment was not good. And so he really went to town on him.
And of course, Bethany setting up at the 47-yard line after an atrociously high snap over Dawson Porter on 4th down for the Westminster Titans. But like you said, a heads-up play, throwing it away. Bethany would have actually started at the 12-yard line of the Titans.
Very heads up. Very heads up.
We'll see if the defense can hold Bethany to a stop, or if Bethany can take the lead. Here's a handoff to Raekwon Wright again.
You see how he tried to duck back in? We had shut him off. The defensive end had gotten upfield just enough, not too deep, just enough. Shut off the pattern, so he tried to cut it back in, and the pursuit got to him.
Darius Doty made the play there, and it'll bring up 2nd down. And Westminster's D, if they can get a stop here, that's probably going to give them a big boost of motivation, considering you're setting yourself up at your own 47, and you have to be able to hold them to the point where they can't even get 3 points on this drive.
Oh, absolutely.
Salinetro puts Wright in motion, again a screen pass, and he will be stopped for about a 5-yard gain.
Same play that we saw the opening play, only to the right side of the field, which was the long side of the field, because the ball was on the left hash, the offensive left hash, through the field. They put 3 receivers out here, and instead of trying to bring blockers out immediately, they are his blockers, and they're trying to get that ball desperately to Raekwon Wright.
So now a quick 3rd and 7 at the 44-yard line. Again, Bethany started at the 47 after a botched punt. Salinetro throws a quick pass that is almost intercepted. That was Eddie Weinkoop and I believe Frank McGee for Westminster trying to both get the ball. Big collision and a fantastic defensive play by the corner there.
Very good play. And I did see Paul Gonzalez coming into that picture a little bit too out that way. Okay, we're back in punt formation again. Now, wonder what, they're pretty much in a traditional type.
And the snap is almost over the head of the punter, but he has room to run. He is going to get a 1st down. Yep. Wow. Was that designed, Scooter?
No, it was lost. It was loss of contain by our right side of the defense. We had sent one man in, and because of the high snap, he thought he could get a block punt, and the punter just outran him. I don't think that was a design play. I think that was extreme heads up by the punter, just like our punter did the series before that. Now Bethany's onto the field. The clock is running already, the 25-second clock. Actually, it's a 35. As soon as that ball went down, it started, or the 40-second clock.
It was John Gossman punting for Bethany. He's actually listed as a quarterback, doing dual duties as a backup.
There's another timeout.
And now, there's another timeout, and you can see there, Carlin Basin is in the game for Bethany. He was furious as he was trying to get one of his players on the field to run another play. That is Bethany's second timeout of the game, only in the first quarter with 7:56. And as I always say, Scott, it seems every single time you watch games and you see blown timeouts, 99% of the time they come back to bite you, because later in the game you're like, hey, we can stop the clock. Wait, no, we can't. We wasted it.
Exactly. And, not to be too harsh here, but shame on the Bethany players for not knowing. I mean, that was just, that wasn't even change of possession. Okay, so we're not going to punt. So, what are their, that they should be, when that punter made that play, they should be so excited with that. They're streaming onto the field, and they're not getting there to line up.
So Carlin Basin now in the game at quarterback for Bethany in the shotgun. Here's a handoff to Raekwon Wright for a gain of about 2 yards.
Two. We hold Raekwon, I'll get it correct. Raekwon Wright to 2 yards of carry, things like that. That is very good defense. We're shutting him off. We're getting up just deep enough, not giving him room to cut it back. And the pursuit coming down the line of scrimmage, Tyler, is very good. The linebackers and the defensive linemen.
Aaron Pierce was the one to make the tackle. Again, Basin in the shotgun. Same formation as last time. Drops back to pass. Plenty of time in the pocket. Throws a pass incomplete over the head of the intended target, and that was a wide open misthrow.
Too much time, though. Too much time. He had a chance to look, and he really could have delivered. His receiver was open, not because of poor coverage on our part, because he had so much time. And it's almost impossible to stay with the receiver when they're running loose like that. We only rushed 3, which means we dropped 8, and he still got loose.
Abe Lyles was the intended target there. And now a quick 3rd and 9 for Bethany after the punt that resulted in a first down.
Change of quarterbacks too.
Salinetro back in, and an incomplete pass.
Is that Marvin again? It's certainly no. Yes, that's Marvin Liberasti. Almost made the pick again. Had a good look at it. It would have been very, very hard, but had a good look.
So now we'll see if Westminster's heads up on this one is again on the last fourth down punt.
I think.
Oh, wow, they're going to go for it right now.
Well, this could be a pooch. Looks like a play, could be a pooch.
Salinetro does throw a screen pass to Raekwon Wright, but he might be stopped in the backfield. There's a stiff arm, and he is not going to get it. A turnover on downs and a huge stop by the Westminster defense, and that will set them up with fantastic field position.
I've got to question Bethany on that one just a little bit, Tyler, just simply because put us back to the 10 to the 5-yard line, something like that. Get downfield, and now they're giving. Talk about good field position. We're going to take possession at the 35-yard line.
And Westminster's defense bent but did not break.
Oh, absolutely did not.
So now Augustus Nicastro back on the field for Westminster. Puts a man in motion. Here's a handoff to Bryce Hill. Hill with some shifty maneuvering to the 40-yard line and a first down.
Number 5 makes the play. The defensive tackle. He is very active. How's that? Okay. My bad, listening audience. I'm getting coached here.
Getting insight from the crew in the remote truck. So now, Westminster.
We've got one back, and we've got a wide slot to the field coming into trips almost.
Hand off to Bryce Hill. Hill gets an 8-yard gain, and they're starting to feed him back-to-back big runs.
We've got to take our center out of the game, though, here for a play because he lost his helmet. And that is the one guy you don't want to take out of a game ever if you don't have to. Brady Hogue, his helmet got knocked off, and the collegiate rule is you must come out for a play. Get it back strapped up again or repaired or whatever needs to be done.
It's now 2nd and 3. Nicastro again in the shotgun. And almost gets Bethany to jump off sides. Hill tries to fight his way forward right at the marker.
Third down and maybe a little less than one. He couldn't quite get up. He was making some moves out there, but couldn't quite get enough oomph going to power through to that first down. Still a good play. 3rd and 1, and I think we're on the 31-yard line. I would venture to say with 3rd and actually less than 1, we're probably fourth down.
Shimon Walker is in at quarterback now, and he is going to keep it up the middle. What a great fake for about a 7-yard gain. Faked the handoff, totally fooled the defense.
Excellent belly. Shimon stuck that ball into the man in motion's midsection, pulled it out, and powered straight ahead. And a Bethany player is down. I can't see a number yet. Number 6, is it?
And that would be, let's see, Joseph Fiasco. Joseph Fiasco appears to be the injured player on the field, but he is able to immediately get up and go to the sideline.
With some help, though. He's in a little bit of duress right now. It looks like he's shaking his arm, so he got pinned underneath, perhaps.
So now a 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Nicastro back in at quarterback. Fake handoff, throw across the middle. Oh, and an incomplete pass overthrew his receiver. He was looking for Javon Hardy.
And he was looking for Javon, his right, and Javon was running a slant from the right side in. Actually, you could call it a post pattern. Plays coming in, 2nd and 10. We just need to get a piece right here, Tyler. Just need to get a piece of this yardage we need.
Here's a pitch to the left side to Hill, but Hill gets stopped for about a 4-yard gain. Nothing there. Jalen Hextall on the tackle for Bethany.
That was a nice little play. Picked up about 3.5 yards. Actually about 4. And so third and long 6, short 7.
And now if they do not get the first down, they are in field goal range for John Syback.
Absolutely.
Nicastro drops back to pass. Under pressure, throws to the left side, and that was just a misread route. Tried to hit Polinelli, but miscommunication.
Bryson went in, and Nicastro threw it to the outside. Exactly what you said, kind of a miscommunication. Now we'll time our field goal attempt right here now and see. Bethany has a lot of speed, and they're loaded up on our left side over here. You can see they're going to try to come in hard from the right. They're right, our left.
Kicking from the 26-yard line. He made all his extra points last week. Kick is up.
I believe
it's good. So Westminster makes something out of their drive, getting 3 points on the board.
And that was off from snap to kick away in 1.3 seconds. That's where you want to be, Tyler. And they were coming, but they didn't really impair his vision or get him thinking about anything. So, nice play. Nice to get on the board first. Played about 10 minutes in the first quarter, a little bit more, and took that ball down the field. Once again, not to beat the old dead horse here too much, but I really kind of question right off the get-go Bethany's not putting us deeper than that and forcing Westminster to reduce our playbook rather than open the playbook up. We were able to do a lot of things.
Yeah, if you're just joining us earlier in the game, Bethany decided to go for it on fourth down, and it resulted in Westminster starting at about the 36, 35-yard line. Instead, Bethany could have pinned the Titans, honestly, within the 10, maybe even the 5-yard line.
Now, we have number 99 kicking off again here.
Dylan Kidder kicks it off, a very short kick, fielded at the 22-yard line. Returner heads up field, tripped up, taken to the 34-yard line.
That ball is hanging in the air only 3 seconds. There are two schools of thought here we can approach. Excuse me. Number one is he's kicking it high enough, there's some hang to it, or not very deep, and we're able to get down. There's no question we're concerned about Bethany's speed they have in the kickoff return units and understandably so. Obviously, they're running backs, and so that shorter kick. The negative side is the ball's on the 34-yard line again.
And right now, I think John Gossman is in. No, that is Basin, who Basin keeps it himself, runs into his own player for about a 7-yard gain. That is Carlin Basin.
More like 8. More like 8, Tyler. Not to be picky, but he as you said, he tripped up on his own player.
Got hit in the head by his own player.
Was starting to come to the sideline, to the Westminster sideline, and might have had some room. That was a pretty slick play.
Alternating between Salinetro and Basin. Here's a handoff to Raekwon Wright on the sideline. Raekwon fights his way forward. He's going to be stopped short of the first down marker. Fantastic heads-up play to swarm the running back. That was the stereotypical swarm defense you see.
Miguel Luis shot out there to that sideline, didn't make the tackle, but shut the running back off from going north and south, as we say, or going downhill. Shut him off, and the rest of the pursuit got up there quickly, and they actually lost maybe a half a yard rather than make anything on a sweep, so it'd be 3rd and 2.
Here's a fake handoff. Basin under pressure, rolling right. Okay. There's a flag on the flag.
We've got a hold, and we've got a hold. So that's going to come back right there. They were holding, who's that, number 97. They were really grasping. John Fitzgerald out of Youngstown East, right next door to us, had a great pass rush in his lane.
Previous spot
and
remains 3rd down.
So instead of a first down, it will put them back, and they'll have to try it again.
Try it again. It's going to be 3rd and 13 now, and takes away that little short belly type of stuff in that. So it's that was John really got loose on that. Kept his lane. We had him boxed. They ran the belly. Nice play, John Fitzgerald.
So now 3rd and 12 at their own 32-yard line.
4
trips to the right.
Reverse.
And a handoff.
And John Fitzgerald. All over that play, Tyler. All over it. Boy, that's 2 plays in a row. Big John has taken care of business in a big way.
So now Bethany, after a first down conversion, you have the penalty, sets them back 10 yards, and then a big loss, and now you'll be punting from your about own 13-yard line. So Westminster hopefully trying to get good field position on this kick. And the kick is almost blocked.
It was close.
Caught by Paulinelli at the 40-yard line.
He was down on a knee. Okay, now they're getting their kicks off much quicker than what we saw pre-game, but he still is a 3-step kicker. I know that would just drive former coach Gene Nicholson nuts, a 3-step kicker. And we came very close that time with just a single man. It's going to be interesting to see if our defense, our special teams, maybe don't load up a little bit one here and really pour in.
So here comes Augustus Nicastro and this offense, leading them down to 3 points on a big kick by John Syback early in the first quarter. A minute 57 left in the first quarter.
Trap.
Here's a handoff up the middle.
Closed quickly. We had a little bit of a seam there. We ran a trap. We brought the, I believe it was the right tackle in the trap, and they closed it. We had a little bit of an opening, and we're pretty quick, but they closed it up with some very good pursuit. Still picked up about 4 of those. You know, interesting thing, Ty. We run that play or get that type of success 3 times, we're moving the sticks.
Yeah, you are. That's a good way of thinking about it. And Keanu Grice was the running back on that play, alternating between Bryce Hill. Dual threat for the Titans, putting Cox in motion to the left. Dropping back to pass. Throws a quick throw to Paulinelli, who stays on his feet, breaks some tackles to the 43-yard line and a first down.
That's the Bethany 43 now. That's the Bethany 43. Titans moving that ball.
Moving the chains again. This is what you want to see for Augustus Nicastro. Last week did not go to him much whenever it came to throwing. Right now, on a roll, hitting most of his receivers. I'm sure he's probably going to try to hit Javon Hardy very soon.
Well, we've had success running the football, and that opens up throwing the football. They both complement each other, obviously, and that's a silly statement, I know.
Handoff to Grice for a power run of 6 yards.
Once again, bringing the opposite lineman over to trap or lead, one of the two. If somebody pops across, he'll trap him, kick him out. If not, he'll turn those shoulders and go up in and lead on a linebacker. Look to the inside. Gain of 5 that time. 2nd and 5.
Nicastro again in the shotgun. Favors this formation quite a bit.
Tight end flops. Strong to the field. Pro set. That's a standard pro set with an I formation.
Another handoff up the middle to Grice, and Grice breaks it outside but gets his legs taken out right at the first down marker. I think that will move the chains.
I think you're correct.
Wow, that's an interesting spot.
They're going to measure. And I agree with that because I'm sitting here looking and I'm not sure. That was a very good open field tackle. Give Bethany credit because Hill was about to break. He was about to break.
And they will be moving the chains, but that is it for the first quarter of play. Westminster up 3-0 over Bethany. We're going to take a quick break and be back for the second quarter. You're watching your home of the Titans, WCN.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think so.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, what could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
What's he
Hey,
doing
it's
here?
Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you can't make it bigger, baby. The bigger the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. First bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me, Scott Reniger. As the Titans now have possession, Nicastro having a handoff to Grice. Grice up the middle for about a 9-yard gain. And we were just talking about during that break, Scott, that Westminster's essentially been running the same play over and over, and you said they're doing it well.
We're not having to use a lot of different motions or a lot of different play calls right now because, and I'm always partial because I'm always critical, the offensive line is getting off the football right now. They are getting off and opening seams.
Nicastro putting Javon Hardy in motion. Another handoff up the middle to Grice for a 3-yard gain and a first down. And leads right at the marker.
I think. They're moving them, yes. All you got to do is keep your eyes on that head linesman over there, closest to the chains, and you see him moving, or if he's not moving that hand, it's going to be set for another play. That was again now. We're coming around the horn. We're coming around. We're pulling our linemen quite a bit here, getting an extra man at the point of attack, and it is being effective. and take nothing away from Bethany. They're working diligently trying to stop these plays, but right now the Titans are executing.
Nicastro, fake handoff, plenty of time, throws for the end zone to Javon Hardy, overthrows him. Hardy had his man beat, just a bad throw.
A little bit, but we had another one. Our wide receiver to the left was coming in. I think that's Paulinelli, and Javon was running to the corner. They got kind of close together, and I think we might have had a couple of defenders somewhere in the area, near the area, and so Nicastro had to try to touch the ball in. Difficult throw. Much better to overthrow, Ty, than underthrow.
Yeah, certainly that makes you susceptible to an interception. Nicastro in the shotgun. Fake handoff. Now does a delayed handoff as Bryce Hill fumbles, but he recovers for about a 5-yard gain.
He was on his way. He was on his way. How far, I can't predict, but he was on his way. The tackler just got a hand on the football, on the arm, and was able to jar the ball loose, or we'd have been going. It's 3rd and 8 now. 3rd and 8. Big play right now. Big play. If Dr. B were here, I'd tell him to get your keys out and start shaking them. Key play. Because right now this is 3rd and 8.
Ball at the 21-yard line, so again in field goal range for John Syback if they do not get this first down. Nicastro throws to the corner of the end zone. Oh, and a bobbled throw, almost caught on the second attempt of the tap of the ball.
Yeah, Javon just got jarred enough that he couldn't extend his hand, and they're talking to their coach now. I'm not sure what that discussion, the referee is over talking to 2 members of their coaching staff.
I didn't see any passer
targeting.
Targeting on the offense.
Targeting on the offense.
And that'll bring up 4th down still. They're not moving the ball back. What was that call, Scooter?
When you go to the head like that, that's a targeting. Can't be hands to the face. I'm at a loss, Tyler. I'm at a loss.
Either way, John Syback kicking again, made his first one. Now kicking from the 29-yard line. The kick is up, and it just goes through right above the bottom crossbar.
1.34. That's we're starting to move a little bit towards a gray area. Not a danger, but a little bit of a gray area. You want to get out of there 1.3. Good snaps, we've had, and that's always crucial, and good holds. Oftentimes we don't give that holder the credit. In the pros they use a punter because they work together all the time, just those two.
And the crowd is fired up after that kick. That was long, and that was just good, putting the Titans up by 6. Emily, let's take it down to you. How's the atmosphere right now? All right, thank you, Emily. So now, Westminster kicking off to Bethany, having had 2 straight field goals on their possessions, and of course the Westminster defense able to hold Bethany to 0. What do you think Bethany will make in regards to adjustments this drive? What do you think has been one of their biggest non-factors so far, Scott?
They haven't been able to sustain blocks. We've been getting off blocks, and they're not able to sustain, and that's...
And here's a line drive kick fielded by Wright at the 12-yard line, heading upfield, stopped.
Good coverage. Good coverage. You get a kick like that. It's not necessarily a squib kick. It's a line drive kick. You're hoping to get funny bounces on it, making it more difficult to handle. It's critical that the kickoff coverage team keep their lanes. You can't vary out of their lanes at all, Tyler. If you start to try to miss a block, step wide. It's okay to go around a block as long as you get back into your lane. You've got to keep your lane because those 10 people have precise angles they're supposed to keep, lines.
Salinetro back in the game for Carlin Basin. Here's a quick screen pass to Raekwon Wright, who drops the ball. That's an incomplete pass. That was a forward pass. And that is a play they have been trying to run against Westminster nonstop.
They are really concerned about Fitzgerald. They just chopped him right there. Legal, not illegal, but chopped him because they can't handle him on their feet apparently. And they've already made an adjustment on their sideline, early in the second quarter.
John Fitzgerald, the defensive tackle, he's a senior, 6'2", 275, brings the house. And Basin now back in the field of play, takes it himself for about a 5-yard gain, and just switching back and forth. Reminds me of the Wilmington Greyhounds and Terry Varelli. He would alternate between Spencer DeMetal and Reese Bender constantly. You never knew what quarterback was going to be. He would switch them about 12 times in one drive.
Well, in his mind, in the Bethany mind, one of the quarterbacks is perhaps a little bit better thrower. The other one's a little bit better runner, a little more of a threat either way. And so they're changing up, trying to find something. But 3rd and 2 here, long 2. Option to Raekwon Wright, who bobbles the ball, and due to him mishandling that will take him down short of the first down marker, and that could have been a first down. I agree, totally. Good call, Ty, good call. He had the corner, and when he bobbled it, now he bobbled that little slant pass, I believe it was their first down play in that series also. And that's so. Right now, we're certainly not going to question his hands, but he's been just a little bit, what do they say, nervous in the service. So,
So officially, and I didn't actually realize this, Raekwon Wright has had 5 attempts for 2 yards. He has gained 2 yards rushing so far. Here's the punt on 4th down. Fair catch called by Paulinelli, who catches it at the 31.
Number 11 for Bethany was right down there. That ball's away in just about 2.3, so they're not in any jeopardy. And they're using that, I don't know, I'm going to say soccer type of kick or something, where you're running and getting it off. And that was a good snap. That was a good snap. So you've got to maintain that aspect of the kicking game. When we used to travel, the first 3 people on the bus, on the plane, whatever we were going, were the snapper, the 2 kickers, punter and the kicker.
Westminster's offense comes back out after having back-to-back field goals. Here's a fake handoff, a quick slant to Bryson Paulinelli for a gain of about 16 to 17 yards to the 50.
Now, that time, that was a good play. Very nice catch by Paulinelli. We're just a little high, but Nicastro was just a little bit, and he got hit at the end of the play. I'd prefer to see those linemen not let him get hit at all. And it was a clean hit. It wasn't late. It was just that quick boom, boom. And I'd like to see them give him just a little bit better protection on that.
Last week against Waynesburg, Bethany's defense did have 5 sacks. I was wondering about Nicastro's protection for this game. Here's a handoff up the middle for about a 2-yard gain.
Nothing there.
Tyler Green on the carry. First time we've said his name today.
Yes. 2 yards might be generous too, Ty. I think it's more like one in a micrometer. But we ran a motion in that time, tried to seal off, and then hit outside of it, but they shut it down before the play really materialized at all.
So now the Titans are at Bethany's 49-yard line for this drive, 2nd and 9. There's a fake handoff. Nicastro almost gets hit from behind, and it's almost picked off. Throw across the middle. Missed its intended target. That was, I believe, Joseph Fiasco.
Paulinelli is taking himself out, shaking his left arm. Bryson's taking himself out of there, and that is our punt returner as well as exceptional receiver.
So now a 3rd and 9. 2 wide receivers to each side. Nicastro now looking to the sideline for the call.
Change the play.
Switch to the right for the running back. Nicastro back to pass. Now has the ball stripped from him, but he does recover. And I think he wasn't even trying to go to pass. I think he went to run and had the ball kind of slung out of his arm.
Possibly he was going to tuck it. He did have some space out there, although with his situation right now, I'm not too excited to see him, handling the ball like that. If it's a pass, it's a pass. If it's a handoff. But anyway, here we go with our punt now. They're just one deep, and guess who?
Raekwon Wright and Dawson Porter, the freshman, punting to him. And, a very delayed punt that was almost blocked. Wright fields it at the 17-yard line, and a huge hit on the sideline. And that was, I believe, Ian Barr, who got hit for Westminster, immediately got up, but took a shot on a block by Bethany player.
And gave Wright the sideline. That ball was off in 2.3 seconds, too. And they came very close. I don't want to say almost got it, but they came close. And so, it's both teams are looking hard at this kicking game right now and maybe trying to block one.
So now the Bethany offense comes back out, having not had pretty much anything happen on the run game, trying to get Raekwon Wright going. They're averaging 2.9 yards. They have 23 total rushing
yards. They
yards.
had Wright in trips, and they brought him into the backfield, and there's the give. And we had motion on them. Now, that was interesting. They had trips into the sideline, the short side of the field, out here.
54.
Then motion.
Offense. 5 yards from the previous
spot. Into the backfield. Not
Still
even
first
motion.
down.
Well, he was moving backwards, so he can move anyway. It doesn't matter, away from the football. And then going to they gave him the football, but they had motion. The play was stifled before.
So still first down, as again that play was not actually completed. 1st and 15, ball at the 25-yard line. Westminster up 6-0. The Bison trying to get something going. A quick screen pass again to Wright, and a phenomenal open field tackle in the backfield.
And it was not a horse collar, was not a mask. He just got a hold of his jersey and brought him down.
Travis Loster diving like Superman, grabbing the jersey of Wright to make that tackle.
Well, we are wearing blue out there. Superman wore red and blue, so... That was an excellent play by Loster.
And that was actually a loss of 5 yards. 2nd and 20.
Oh, yeah, the pass was completed in the backfield. And they just brought different personnel in.
Gotta wonder why Bethany keep trying these screen passes. Westminster have stopped it all game.
Speed.
Might take a shot. And Bateson is back in at quarterback, breaks a tackle, but gets hit with a wall. Got about a 5 to 6 yard gain, but faces a big 3rd and long, as if the defense can get a stop here, get the ball back.
He's banged up too. Number 7's banged up. He's banged up. He's taking himself out of the game. That was a tremendous hit by Liberty. As also, he came right up from his safety position and took him on head-on with a great tackle. His head was up and everything, so there was nothing even remotely questionable about his attack. Just a terrific tackle by Marvin.
And we'll try to keep you updated on Basin, as he looked very upset heading to the sideline. I believe he got hit in the leg. He was grabbing his leg. So that means Salinetro back in the game on this big 3rd down. A quick throw along the sideline, caught for a 1st down. Big conversion, as that was Stephon Carter. First time we've said his name today.
We had excellent pass rush that time. Number 90, Joey Lane, really had a tremendous rush on that time. That ball just got loose and was perfectly thrown. Credits to the quarterback. Credits to, you can say his name. Salinetro.
So again, Salinetro, empty backfield, screen to Wright, and Wright taken down.
Joey Lane, 2 plays in a row. Didn't quite get there on the last one to stop it. But this time, boy, did he come flying out, and he's playing at the nose guard position, or in the middle. He came flying out of there.
And prior to that, that was Bethany's longest pass of the day. That conversion to Stephon Carter to move the chains. really shows, how much this defense has been stifling them. But again, moving the chains, finally getting that big play for the Bison, and then immediately going back to the screen pass that Westminster have sniffed out all day.
Speed. They are looking to get their runners loose.
Salinetro, quick pass along the sideline, and his receiver didn't know the ball was coming. That was Abe Lyles, who was open, but saw the ball whiz past him, and he was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
The ball went by, and he looked. Whoops. That was just that little quick pass down the field, not that bubble screen they've been trying to throw. But, going back to that bubble screen, they're trying desperately to get that speed loose, to get that athleticism moving. And that's their main focus right now. You keep thinking, why are they going? Because they are desperate to get their speedsters the football in space.
So again, another third down. They are 1 for 6 on third down efficiency right now, and a timeout called by Bethany.
They called their last timeout.
With 6:28 left in the second quarter, Bethany uses its last timeout, so they are not able to stop the clock for the rest of this half. Westminster still has 3 timeouts. Titans up 6-0. We'll be right back with a big third down for Bethany. You're watching your home of the Titans, WCN. To Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me, Scott Reniger. Bethany currently faces a 3rd and 12 from their own 41-yard line. The Titans have a 6-0 lead in the second quarter with 6:28 left after 2 big John Syback field goals. Second one just went over the crossbar. That got the crowd fired up because, it's always fantastic, especially in Division III, when you can count on your kicker and get those 3 points on drives where you don't get the touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Salinetro, back to pass, pump fakes, gets the ball is out. It is picked up by a Westminster defensive player to the 31-yard line.
Calling it incomplete. They're calling it incomplete.
Darius Doty, and
I think he's down.
I don't know how that was an incomplete pass. I did not see his arm going forward. He got the ball ripped out. Can we go to a replay on that?
Well, and right there, that was a little bit questionable because of the action. They had a guy take a real shot at our player that is down. I'm trying.
Yeah, it's Darius Doty.
That's Darius Doty, and their one lineman came in and took a real shot. And we don't have replay and things like that, and that's what Scott Benzel is asking the referee about. Was his arm moving forward, or was it not? And so consequently, you notice all of our kids are on their knee too with the injured player. But he took kind of a shot there that I'm not sure had anything to do with the play, Tyler. I'm being a little critical right now. I understand that, but I'm not sure that guy diving in there on Darius had anything to do with the play. But you can't fault the officials because they were trying desperately to get the call correct. Is it a forward pass? Was it a fumble? And that's where their concentration was, and unfortunately, the result is Darius is down, and we're taking a look at him, and Sean Toomey, our trusted trainer out there, is with him. They're sitting him up. He took quite a shot.
And Darius is up. Fantastic to see from him as you see all of his teammates coming over to help him over to the sideline. That is a big blow for this Westminster team.
Oh, definitely, and they're having to carry him off, which means that his something's wrong with his legs. I'm going to guess that it's his right leg. They seem to be favoring that more than the others, and as you mentioned, big loss right now. Now here we're going back to look at a kick.
Yeah, it is a punt, so it wasn't
coming. So
was an incomplete pass, and good to see on the sideline. Darius is smiling. He was laughing to his teammates, so at least he is able to smile right now.
He's trying desperately to walk.
But now a punt return on 4th down. Kick is off.
We didn't come at all. And
Punt to the 20-yard line, heading upfield, taken down for about a 1-yard gain, and a flag on the play. Not sure if that was a face mask or what. It happened right when the tackle occurred. We'll see what it is.
Bryson was out there that time, Paulinelli. When he came off that previously, I wasn't so sure, but he was out there.
Personal foul. Face mask.
I was right.
Number
it is a
6
face mask.
of the kicking team.
Westminster will start
15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st and 10, Westminster.
And Westminster
So
will.
we're going to come up. That one is 15. So from the 21-yard line, the ball should go to the 36. 37.
And that is where it will be spotted, the 37-yard line. So after that penalty on the punt return, Westminster gets an extra 15 yards, starts them at the 37. They have had great field position this whole game.
Sean Toomey is down there working on Darius Doty's right leg.
Pitch to the right side to Hill.
He should have kept right straight up that time. He started up and then saw something to the outside and ran right into the supporting safety.
Gain of 4 on the play, and they've been going to Hill quite a bit.
Oh, yes. Well, the running game is working. The running game is working. We haven't been able to break that one yet. We've come very close on maybe 2, maybe 3 different instances. Just haven't been able quite to get that last block.
That happens on occasion.
There he goes again.
Hand off to Hill. Stopped at the line, though. That was sniffed out by the defense, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Whatsoever. Now, up front, no movement whatsoever up front. And that. So they've kind of focused in on not giving us movement. And, that might be something Emily can talk to Coach Benzel about just before he goes in at halftime. What kind of adjustments might we make to get a little more movement? We have been moving their front. Now we're not as readily.
3rd and 7 at the 40. Almost gets the D line to jump off sides. And Scooter, I'll bet you were hoping that he would have snapped it there to get a free play.
Well, I'm not sure. I think.
Quick throw to Connor Cox. Connor across the middle. Oh, and he can't get the 1st down. Was not able to shake the tackler right at the line.
Now, not to be too harsh, but Connor made a little bit of an error, mental error right there. He had a shot to duck up, get his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, thought he could get outside, and the kid Bethany player made a very good one-on-one tackle, not easy to do, and flattened Connor before he could get that 1st down. So now it's going to put us absolutely in a punt position with 4.5 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter.
Get ball at the 46-yard line, choosing to punt on 4th and 1. Dawson Porter back to punt, and of course Raekwon Wright to receive. Fielded at the 14-yard line, slips a little bit, but now gets outside all the way to the 40-yard line, and Bethany will now start out with great field position, just like Westminster did.
Our gunner that time kind of overshot him. Once again, not to be too critical here, but when we know how dangerous Wright is, very dangerous, and so maybe getting downfield, deep downfield, isn't as important as getting down a little more under control and facing him straight up to try to keep him at bay. Now the quarterback again is Salinetro, so I haven't seen anything over on their sideline. I haven't been looking closely to see where number 7 is, but there he is down there by the coach.
Dom hands off to Wright, who gets stopped at the line for
maybe a loss, if nothing else, just right back to the line of scrimmage. But I see number 7 right down there at the end. See the coach that's calling the plays, and number 7 standing right there. So apparently he shook off that hit he took.
Yeah, Carlin Basin is standing on the sideline with his helmet on.
Oh, he's ready to go in.
And again, he got banged up earlier. I believe it was 1 or 2 drives ago, and of course Salinetro had to take his place. And I guess this is why the dual threat works, because you've got 2 quarterbacks that can come in at any time. Trips to the left side, handoff to Wright, and there's Wright breaking free along the sideline to the 39-yard line.
Yep. That's what they've been looking for, is to just give him that little bit of a seam, and that's just how quick he is. He reminds us of our backs, just that quick.
And with 3:21 left, we'll see if Bethany try to score at halftime, be up by 1 pending the extra point on this drive. We'll see how long it takes them to score and if Westminster will get a chance to try to fight back on their side before halftime.
We'll have a thought about timeouts here in a moment, too, after this play. That's basically the same play
and
as the last play.
Stop
and
for
crushed.
a 1-yard gain.
You see, you made the observation right away in the first quarter. Their timeouts, and they did not have enough people.
They have gone through all of them.
They have no timeouts left. They can't stop the clock other than an incomplete pass, penalty, or first down. And then with the first down, that clock's going to stop.
Honestly, I think Bethany would rather run the clock here. I can't imagine them even wanting to use their timeouts, considering, you want to take as much time as you can so the Titans don't have a chance. You might see a timeout by Scott Benzel. So second down, Salinetro, delayed handoff, keeps it himself, throws across the middle, picked off! The ball is picked off to the 40, to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, 20, 10, two-man to beat, down to the 1-yard line. That was Bryce Thomas on the pick for the Titans. What a phenomenal play and a huge swing in momentum for this team.
I think we had a little bit of a beat on him. It didn't appear to be much of a beat to the quarterback, but I thought he might have overshot just a little bit. And boy, we were right there. And he's exciting the crowd.
Talk about getting the crowd fired up. They are still all cheering right now. Look at them go along the sideline, firing everyone up. This is what they need. And so now, we were just talking about Bethany, potentially being up by 1. Now Westminster start from the 1-yard line.
Guess who the quarterback is?
Design draw play up the middle, keeping it. That was Isaiah Canton in the Wildcat formation for 6 points.
How quickly fortunes change, Tyler. How quickly the fortunes can change. That's why you have to be just absolutely focused all of the time. Bethany's on the move, makes a big play. They get Hill loose finally, and then are right loose, and all of a sudden, we're going for 2.
We're going for 2.
Well, 2 field goals is only 6. Rather, we're going to try to make it a 2-touchdown
Castro
game.
has a handoff and a pitch back to the right side and a throw to the end zone. A diving catch. Complete to Joey Joy. And that reminded me of the Philly special from the past Super Bowl. Super Bowl 52. Took the ball. It was a handoff and then a reverse throw to Joey Joy.
You know who else was open? The Castro. They must have watched the Browns win their first game in 2 years.
And Joy fired up, and that is huge. And honestly, we don't know the outcome of this game. It is only the second quarter. You still have 2 minutes left. But making that and being up by exactly 2 touchdowns eliminates the threat of missing that. Say Bethany score, make it 14-12, and you have to go down and score yourself instead of having a tie game.
Oh yes. I think that that's really shrewd thinking on Benz's part and the staff to go for 2. It'd be 13 because 7 and 6, but now it's a little more. So it's, what do we have to lose? It's still going to be 12. So make it 14. That's 2 conversions. 2 touches, 2 conversions.
And Kathy Richardson,
and
you see.
Let's not forget, guess who gets the football to start the second half?
Yeah, Westminster kicked off to start this game, as you just saw Westminster President Kathy Richardson on your screen. She's here for this game supporting the Titans. And the kick is off, and a booming kick moves the returner all the way back to the 5-yard line, heading upfield. Trying to cut outside across the middle. Now he has a lane and 1 player.
Just a hand right
able to get
there.
Him.
Is that number 6, number 2? I can't quite
It could
tell.
be either Bill Medea
That was dangerous. Number 9.
And that would be Frank McGee for the Titans with a big open field tackle, and that was almost dangerous. And I was just about to say, because the Titans scored so quickly, starting at the 1-yard line after that interception, Bethany still has 2 minutes left, and now the timeouts come into play.
Well, I'm going to disagree just a little bit, though. You want to get it in there when you can, Tyler. You don't want to purposely leave it off.
Hand off to right, and somebody lost their helmet as there's a flag, and that could be a face mask.
Well, it's on one of our helmets.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that big? That's not John. That's
Garrett Bishop, if that is 42. No, that's Austin Shin, number 43 for the Titans.
Personal foul, illegal participation, number 34, the defense. 15 added to the end of the run, first down.
So illegal participation, that would be James Leon.
No idea.
I have honestly never heard that call before in my life.
I'm at a little loss too as to what we did wrong, but that added 15 on to not much, but that's a first down. There's the give to Wright again.
Wright gets about a 2-yard gain, so a minute 47 left. Bethany cannot stop the clock unless they have an incomplete pass, which obviously that's not what you want as a coach. You wouldn't just throw it away willy-nilly.
No.
But the Westminster D trying to get a stop, up 14-0 on the previous drive. They picked off Salinetro. Salinetro trying to bounce back.
Give.
Again to Wright, who falls over for about a 4-yard gain.
Bethany is very concerned about our secondary right now, and very concerned about Salinetro's reads, the ability of the receivers to. I mean, right now they're concerned, and so they're trying desperately to break Wright, and he can strike quick. But a minute 3 to go. It's third and I'm going to say 5. 3rd and 5. They're on the 39. I don't think they're anywhere near field goal range. I don't know how.
No, that would be over. That would be over a 55-yard field goal, I think. Salinetro rolls left, throws to the sideline. Oh my goodness! It's caught in triple coverage.
Boy,
how was that even possible? A clutch catch
by number 17, I believe.
And if so, that was Trayvon Charles, the defensive back, playing wide receiver right now.
Unless they have 2 of them.
I don't see two number 17s.
I don't know.
Now Salinetro with an empty backfield. Look at this rolling right. Throwing towards the end zone.
Catch.
And incomplete. He caught it and dropped it.
He had his hands on it. He had his hands on it. Number 17 drawing double duty here. We're taking a timeout.
And now a timeout by Westminster. What a big way to potentially head into halftime with this drive, leading to points for Bethany. We don't know what's going to happen. 28 seconds left. Titans up 14-0. We'll be right back for the rest of the second quarter action. You're watching your home of the Titans, WCN.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me, Scott Reniger. Currently 28 seconds left in the second quarter. Titans up 14-0, but Bethany trying to put points on the board of their own at the Titan 20-yard line. Huge conversion before we went to the break on third down. Catch was made by Trayvon Charles in triple coverage. I thought that was going to be a pick all the way, but Salinetro put that exactly where it needed to be. As you hear the crowd getting fired up, they want the D to hold them to 0 on this drive.
Wide twins.
Salinetro throw to the corner of the end zone, and nobody's there. 2 Westminster players were the only ones in the vicinity.
I'm going to take a guess that that was thrown away, Tyler, because he was not near his receiver. That was the single receiver into the sideline. They had two wides, twins out to the field. He didn't even look right to and then come back left. He focused left only and let it fly. I think that was really a kind of a predetermined. I don't think that was a read.
24 seconds left, 3rd and 10. Cilantro immediately under pressure, incomplete pass. So now Bethany will go for 3 points of their own. Again, John Syback has made 2 for the Titans, and after Salinetro's incomplete pass, we'll see if Bethany can get through here.
They don't have a kicking unit out there.
Wow.
Here it comes.
Yeah, I was about to say,
okay.
You want to salvage those 3 points right now before halftime. I'd be very surprised if...
Or the attempt, yeah. And here's where that 2-point conversion is nice.
Sean Cole back to kick for Bethany, kicking from the 26-yard line. Snap. Kick is up.
Good.
And it's good. So Bethany able to get 3 points out of their drive, up 14-3 with 17 seconds until halftime. We'll be right back. You're watching your home of the Titans, WCN.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher. Be my teacher.
Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you?
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin. Alongside me, Scott Reniger. Bethany just got 3 points on the board with 17 seconds left before halftime. Titans still leading 14-3, but that was a very productive drive by Bethany, as again the big clutch catch and triple coverage led to the field goal.
2 catches, in fact. 2 catches really got them down there, and good play. Now on this kickoff, as you and I were just talking about, Tyler, if we get a big return, we could use our 2 timeouts, try to do something. If not, in their drive.
Byron Mayers squibs it, fielded by Bryce Hill as he bobbles it. Now
he slips.
He slipped and stayed at the 11-yard line, didn't get up.
So we'll just we'll take a knee and get ready to go in at halftime, I do believe.
So now Westminster offense coming back out onto the field, and yeah, with 15 seconds left starting at your own 11-yard line, I would be very surprised if Benzel tried to do anything other than a kneel down, and that's exactly what they are going to do.
I think Shimon Walker's in there just to take that snap. Shimon. And that's it, because you're 89 yards away.
And that will be it for the first half of play. The Titans with a 14-3 lead. We'll be right back with first half stats and our half. You're watching Titan football on WCN.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher. Be my teacher.
Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you?
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I'm waiting.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin. Alongside me, Scott Reniger. The Titans currently have a 14-3 lead at halftime. Of course, Bethany able to get 3 points on the board to end their drive right before halftime with 17 seconds left. And Scott, Westminster essentially dominated in a lot of aspects, a lot more than people thought. And there was a lot of moments where they came in clutch. You know, Westminster going down to drive, and of course the interception return down to the 1 yard line stopped what would have been a phenomenal drive by the Bison.
Exactly. I think it's interesting, Tyler, and such is the fortune of football. Westminster did play a really solid first half, I think. Very few mistakes from what I could observe, and we just we couldn't quite get over the hump. A couple of field goals on good drives put us in, and that certainly set the table. The touchdown was a defensive setup, absolutely, and yet 14 points. Bethany made a good drive with a couple things, a couple plays at the end, and got on the board. However, what often is said is first drive of the second half is very important. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
And right now is the 2018 Titan Sports Hall of Fame ceremony. Currently at halftime, Westminster will induct 4 new members into the Titan Sports Hall of Fame today. You're seeing them on your screen right now. The class of 2018 is as follows: Megan Kowal, 2009, swimming and diving; Dan Laux, 1970, golf; Joe Stewart, 1963, track and field; Megan Harding Wilkie, 09, track and field. And a phenomenal way to honor, the fantastic players and fantastic athletes that were a part of Westminster history.
Absolutely. Titan Athletic Hall of Fame is probably close to 30 years old, or maybe older, and very much an important part to recognize. Of course, these 2 young ladies that didn't graduate too terribly long ago, but these 2 gentlemen quite some time ago.
And as we take a look at the halftime stats, at least a little bit overall, it's funny because earlier in the game we were talking about Raekwon Wright. He couldn't really get things going, but then broke out some big runs to keep drives going for the Bison. And whenever you look at them right now, Bethany has 52 yards rushing. They're averaging 4 yards per carry. Westminster, 64, but averaging less yards per carry than Bethany.
Oh, definitely. It's Raekwon Wright is a threat every play, anywhere on the field. And you have got to play him hard. Not that you're not going to play every play hard and respect every player, but you've got to play him very hard all the time. You have to know where he is. You have to close your lanes. So many things you have to be on your toes. You cannot make a mistake, Tyler. Overrun a play, underrun a play. Don't get off of a block. Don't shed a block quick enough. All of those things, and you have to make great tackles. We made a couple great tackles on him during the first half, different times. You've got to keep him at bay. And the quarterback Salinetro has definitely shown on the pass too that he has the capability to thread the needle, as they say.
We apologize if we ever call him Cilantro. He's not cilantro, he is Salinetro. But continuing to talk about Raekwon Wright in this game, earlier in the game we observed they constantly, over and over and over, were trying to do screen passes to him. And whenever you look at the stats right now, Wright has 7 receptions for -4 yards.
Oh, absolutely. That's we talked about earlier why they kept trying the same play. They're trying to get Wright and their other skilled people, trying to get them the football in space so they can use their quickness, their running ability, all of their attributes, and they are fine, skilled people. So it's just essential, and that's why defensively, we cannot let down our guard at any particular point.
So looking at the Westminster side, Bryson Pollinelli was phenomenal whenever it came to receptions, 2 receptions for 31 yards. But actually, we're going to send it down to Emily Bondi right now, who is going to have an interview with Hall of Fame inductee Joe Stewart. Emily?
Stewart, who graduated from Westminster in '63, and you were in track and field. So what does this award mean to you?
I'm sorry, my hearing aid.
What does this award mean to you?
I just very, very honored, and I wish my grandfather, who held the record before me, could have known I was even a runner. He was buried on my 9th birthday, and he never knew I ran. So this is very special, and I'm doing it for him partly. So thank you.
That is very special. And what advice would you give to young athletes?
You need to work. If by God's grace you got a little speed in you or athletic one, but you got to work at it, improve on it, and do everything you can to bring out those things that are part of you.
Great, thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
Tyler?
Fantastic interview right there, and that just makes your heart feel warm from that, listening to Joe talk about that. At halftime, it's 14-3, Titans with the lead. Emily Seacrest will be back with Tim McNeil here on the home of the Titans, WCN.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Emily Seacrest, and this week I'm sitting down with head coach Tim McNeil. Thank you for coming.
Sure thing.
So now you kind of do it all. You are the head coach of the men and women's cross-country team, as well as the men and women's track and field coach. So how do you manage to juggle all of that?
Right, and then the indoor track and field season starts while the cross-country season is going on. So I start before school starts, and then we always hope that we get a national qualifier or 2 or 3 in track and field. And that takes us all the way to Memorial Day, which is like 2 or 3 weeks after school. So it is busy. Add in, I have 3 little kids under 8, and it's a lot of fun. But I will say this. I do, for the first time ever in Westminster history, we have a full-time internship coach or intern coach, Coach Jenny Kruger, who was an alum, graduated in 2012, was a great runner for us, and she has been fantastic. She's taken over a lot of the things that got pushed down the line year after year after year. She's taking on that role, and things are just easier this year. So, but someone said a long time ago, if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. So I love coming to work. If you call it work, I love coming in every day and working with the great kids here.
So now this is your 12th year at Westminster. How have you managed to have such a successful career here?
Well, I've had some great assistant coaches since I got here, and it's no different now. Like I said, the addition of Jenny Kruger now is going to fill a void that was lost by other coaches that have come and gone. And of course, working with these kids are great. It's very difficult with all the different schedules that everybody has, including our coaches, but the flexibility we have in the program, the flexibility that all the assistant coaches have, we're able to find time to get the workouts in, maybe not as hard or as long as we would have liked, but we get them done.
So now coming into this season, you lost some seniors, and then you gained some freshmen. What about the senior class is going to help you?
Well, we only have 2 seniors, one on the women's side, one on the men's side. The one on the men's side, Andrew Kearney, who will be a significant contributor for us. He's in our top 5, top 7. So we are as young of a team as we have ever been. And I like the challenge, although we're not going to, and I hate to say that we're not going to be as good as we have in the past. We lost on the women's side, I think, 4 of our top 7 runners from last year, so that's a pretty big hit. But what I love is that the freshmen and sophomores get to create the program that they want to have in the future. So, in years past, it's always been a senior who've had control over what, or dictated the way things went, the way the tradition was. It's kind of refreshing that we get some young kids to kind of start over with how we're going to do things. And they've been great, some of the freshmen and sophomores, although, I always use the term, when you get to be juniors and seniors, we're dealing with men and women. Freshmen and sophomores sometimes still have a little bit of boy and girl. So our young people are growing up really fast for this team, and it's going to be an exciting transformation to see them grow this year and into the future, and I'm excited where we can head into the future.
So now with this young team, is there a team motto this season?
Well, we've always kind of embraced the idea of train, don't strain. So that's been the motto, although some groups and some people say that it's strain to train. But I'm a big believer in you train so that you don't get hurt. If you go all out, give 110%, eventually we're going to break down. It's a long season for us, as we talked about. These cross-country kids, they start in August. Basically, they should start their training in May or June on their own. We start in August. They're going to run their whole season, the whole school year, all the way until, at least the middle of May. So that's where the train, don't strain really works for us, because if you ran hard every single day, eventually your body's going to break down. So train, don't strain is really our team motto that we use throughout the year.
So next September 28th is your next invitational. It's at Washington and Jefferson. How are you preparing for that?
We, in cross country, it's a little bit different than some of the other sports. In football and basketball, every game is so important because of league standings, where you're going to fit. You really want to win the conference. So in some of those sports, you win the conference in each game. In cross country and track and field, that is not the case. So we use each meet as training. We are going to determine the outcome of the PAC championship at our championship meet. So that's it. We could lose every single meet. We could have the worst team in the world and show up at the conference championships and win. Unlike in other sports, you can't do it that way. So we kind of take the idea that we're going to use each meet as training. So right now, we train hard throughout the week because we do not have a meet this weekend. But then next weekend, when we do have a meet, we'll train hard for the first 3 days, and then we'll really start to taper down, then run hard at the meet. But the meet is more practice. Hey, what did you do right? What did you do wrong? How can we fix this? And then we're going to use all of those mistakes for the conference championships. So hopefully we'll correct them by the conference championships and run our best there. That's where we want to peak.
Well, thank you for coming today, and good luck this season and in track and field as well. And thank you for joining us this week on Coach's Corner.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin, and alongside me very shortly will be Scott Reniger. As we take a look at the halftime statistics, it has been a dominating performance by Westminster. Bethany have gotten a few chances, but the Westminster D able to hold up. And when you actually look at the first downs, despite being down 14-3, Bethany only have one less first down than Westminster. 15 rushing attempts, compared to 19 rushing attempts. Almost exact whenever it comes 65-61. Bethany actually averaging more rushing yards now, getting Raekwon Wright going late in the first half. Bethany completed 11 receptions. Westminster has only passed the ball, or actually only completed the ball 3 times, Augustus DeCastro, but on 3 of those passes, it totaled 37 yards compared to Bethany's 11 receptions for 34. So the Titans going to try to get the passing game going more. However, they have the threat of Bryce Hill as always, as well as the threat of Keanu Grice. Hill has had 43 yards on 8 attempts. Only had 1 run for a loss, and between him and Keanu Grice, 5 rushes for 24 yards. He's been doing a phenomenal job. Raekwon Wright, they've been trying to go to him a lot, and whenever it comes to his actual yards gained, 11 rushes for 34. And you can expect them to try to get him going later in the second half of play. Bethany have punted 4 times for 152 yards. Mike Whitehurst has been the punter for Bethany. Earlier in the game, Carlin Basin got hurt. He was actually the dual threat quarterback rotating in and out with Salinetro. It seems he is okay. The wide receiver for Bethany, Darius Taylor, who led the receptions last week, he had ice on his ankle earlier in this game. We were just informed about that as Scott Reniger back up into the booth. Scott, we're covering halftime stats. What do you think Bethany needs to do to get back into this game down 14-3? Who do you think are the playmakers that need to get going?
I hope nothing. I hope nothing.
Well, besides the homer bias.
I hope the Titans keep bottling them up. We've done a very good job. Raekwon Wright is the real deal, Tyler. He's the real deal, no surprise there. Quarterbacks, the 2 of them are doing a very good job. The receivers finally caught the ball here the last last series. We've got to continue to do what we've been doing. We've played very consistent football. We've played very solid defense. We've kept our lanes. We've closed, we've hit shed, got to the ball. The front line has made numerous plays. And when they haven't been able to make a play because they're getting double, triple teamed, they're occupying people, and the linebackers and the defensive backs are able to get right up in there. That has to continue. That has to continue. And they're going to continue to try to get Raekwon Wright the football with space, as well as some of their others. Now, we're going to have to take a quick look and see how number 7 comes out of the locker room in that, and see if they're able to use that 2-quarterback system that they were using in the first half, because he is a running threat. I think he only threw 1, maybe 2 balls that I can remember. They were good passes. I don't think they were complete. They were good balls. I don't know that he may be the throwing threat that the other quarterback is, Salinetro. So, we'll just have to wait and see. My concern is, and it's not a concern, my thought is, we've got to continue to do exactly what we've done the first half. Play consistent, do the job, conduct the assignments impeccably. Not let down, not miss a play, not miss a tackle. We've had some very good tackling this first half, and as I said before, not to be repetitive, but Wright is the real deal. There's no question, as is our 2 running backs as well, and Nicastro with our wide array of receivers. We need to move the ball, try to get 4 or 5 yards on that first down. That opens up that playbook a little differently than if we go 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, or forbid a loss on that first down. That's important. So those are a couple things. Now, something I was talking to Emily about at halftime too, and we think about this. First possession of the second half is always kind of important, not kind of, quite often very important, because we've had a chance to make more major adjustments, if any, are necessary in that, and make those adjustments, make some recognitions. So consequently, we've got to come back out of the starting blocks, and boy, if we could make a drive here and get it in, the game's not over by a long shot, but that certainly makes a statement.
And a player that certainly does not need any adjustments is number 22, Bryce Thomas, the safety for Westminster. Of course, picking off Salinetro, setting Westminster up at the 1-yard line. And if that wouldn't have happened, this game could be 7-3 right now.
Oh, definitely. 6-3, actually. Two field goals to one. And that, so, but such are the fortunes of football, and it's just, we've played, I would say, not having the opportunity to watch film, watch this, watch that, those types of things. We played, I don't have anything quite consistently. I think we've been pretty consistent in our play. I'm pleased, and I'm especially pleased because the first 3 ball games, I listened to 2 and, of course, was at the opener. We didn't do very well early. Today, I thought we did quite well early. Now, once again, to me, the challenge goes out to the offensive line. We got a little, maybe not as authoritative, I don't want to say lax, not quite as authoritative in our blocking early. But now we're ready for the kickoff, and they're kicking from their right hash, our left.
Brian Mayers with the kick to send us into the second half of play. A very short kick, fielded at the 24-yard line. Heading upfield is Bryce Hill. Hill dancing around with shifty maneuvering and gets to the 34.
He is very shifty. He is really slick out there. Those hips and those ankles and those feet just move every which way. Those shoulders and he got up on that ball. A lesser player might not have got such a good catch on it in that. We're on the 33-yard line. Our 33.
So Nicastro comes back out. 3 for 9 in the first half for 37 yards. Starts with a handoff to Hill, who gets his leg grabbed and dragged to get back to the line.
They got up real quick. Uh-oh. He's down.
Oh, and Hill is down. That is that is not a good sight to see for this Westminster team. That is their starting running back, and that if he is out of the game, that would be a huge loss, probably the biggest loss of the game for the Titans, because then you have to switch up your whole game plan and go with strictly Keanu Grice.
Well, it's he's a little gimpy there. I don't want to downplay Keanu Grice at all, though, because he's very good. Hills was having a very, obviously, a very strong game. But now it's time, and as they said, I don't like to use this, next man up. That's the case. But, it's time for Keanu to demonstrate his abilities.
Grice, the junior out of Delray Beach, Florida, has 24 yards today. Here's a quick pass from Nicastro over the head of a defender to Polinelli for a 12-yard gain. What a dime to drop that into him.
And one thing that really heartened me right there is I've lost him here now all of a sudden. Keanu Grice just came into the game. He had a blocking assignment. There was nobody to block, but he was there searching, and that's why Nicastro was able to throw such a nice ball to Polinelli.
Nicastro again in the shotgun. Puts a man in motion to the left. Here's a handoff up the middle to Keanu.
And see, he's got, I'm going to say 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say 4. So what we talked about, at the beginning of this half was if we can get 4 or 5 yards on that first down, I'd much rather, as a coach, as an offensive coordinator, be facing a 2nd and 6 than a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, that incomplete pass scenario, something like that. This, like we said earlier in the game, Ty, you make 3 of these, you're going to move the chains.
So now a 2nd and 6, ball already at the Bethany 49-yard line. Fake handoff. Nicastro throws it away. He had pressure in his face, and that was Cass Blango, defensive lineman. And Westminster has a quick 3rd down. You were talking about, having those runs on first down. You should go talk to Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. No run plays called in the 3rd quarter at all in the last game for him.
Oh, wow.
Only passes.
We see Sean is taping Hills. ankle down there on the outside. It seems to be perhaps his right or left ankle.
Cox in motion to the right. Nicastro facing pressure. He held onto the ball too long. Gets sacked.
I'm not going to call out the number of the missed block right there.
That was Cas Blango, name we just said, getting the sack there.
But, you know, our player just got eaten alive on that. And unfortunately, and that's a loss of a lot of yardage there. We're 4th and 7. It means we lost about 7 yards on that.
4th and 13 from the 44-yard line. He had people to throw to, just couldn't get it away. And here's Porter punting away.
Oh, boy.
Fair catch called at the 25-yard line, and a slide, and the returner is hit, and that is going to be a flag. That is the right call.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. Number 4 is coming out of there with his hands. What did I do? You've got to know where the football is.
Ian Barr slid into the return man. That was Raekwon Wright doing return duties all day.
But, you know.
After the play, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 4 of the kicking team. The ball will be placed 15 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
And then now it's field position where we had them, you know, in a position of our advantage. We've now opened up that playbook a little bit wider and have put a little more pressure on that defense.
So Bethany getting the ball now. Last time they scored was a 37-yard field goal by Sean Cole. Starting at the 40-yard line, Salinetro hands off to Raekwon, who tries to get to the edge on the left side. 3-yard gain.
I've noticed one thing. We are tackling Wright relatively high, grabbing him up around the shoulder, not allowing him to give us that slipped leg, you know, move away. We're trying to attack, you know, where we can control his body more. Pretty good observation, I think, by our defensive staff on how to try to handle him. We're 3 down linemen.
Salinetro hands it off to Wright. Wright getting along the edge, out of bounds. Let's see where he stepped out. Looks like he went farther than I thought. It will be 3rd and 4.
Bethany is right now number 61 over there, just pumping his arms up and down. He just tried to. They're not getting. They've been a little on the chippy side.
Braylon Sibley
trying to get us to react. And to our kids' credit, they're ignoring them. They're ignoring their talk, their actions, trying to give a little extra push, a little extra shove.
Salinetro, quick throw and catch.
Just a little
44-yard line.
First down.
Jacob Van Leuven, the tight end, with his first catch of the day, will move the chains. Bethany trying to get a drive going on their opening drive of the second half, trying to make it 14-10. And of course, if it's 14-10, you know, Benzel's going to look at his offense and say, come on, we need to get it going again.
Well, once again, you know, we talk about first drives. Our first drive, we got a first down, then kind of stopped, and their first drive, they're moving the chains. Fake.
Now Basin back in the game, going to keep it himself for a 2-yard gain after the fake.
Now, that time he held the ball like he was faking, Tyler, to nobody. There was nobody there, and our kids closed the gap and 1-yard gain. You know, he didn't belly it in, try to use good ball movement, ball handling, and I'm really not quite sure what the addition to that play was. Somebody coming in reverse, whatever.
2nd and 9 now. Salinetro back in, switching back and forth all game. Here's a handoff to Wright. Stopped at the line, pushes the pile forward for an extra gain. Got about 2 to 3 yards more after the push.
Yeah, we didn't get him up high enough or low enough to, as a matter of fact, they were able to, you know, that old kind of push the pile routine.
So now another third down. Quite a lot of third downs in this game. Whenever you actually look at the stats, Bethany 2 for 9. This is their 10th third down of the game.
3rd and 5.
Cilantro. Salinetro bobbles the snap, throws, and incomplete.
Walked away. That was a good play. Is that number 28, 22?
That was 22, Bryce Thomas, who had the pick earlier. So on that, you saw Salinetro kind of bobble the snap a little bit, and that quick little bobble, I think, disrupted him mentally just enough. And a phenomenal play by Bryce Thomas to swat it away.
He and Sosa just reached up and batted it, and, now there. Remember the first half? We're going for it. Similar situation, punting.
At the 39-yard line, they're going to try to pin the Titans deep. This is the first time today they've punted this deep into Titan territory. It's a high kick, and it's shanked as it goes to the 22-yard line. And no, they're going to mark it even further to the 25.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
About a 10 to 15-yard punt. Forget about pinning the Titans.
They might have been better off to go.
I was literally just thinking that, huh? Now you saw that out there.
That definitely was the play. Try to put us deep, but you've got to really work on that type of coffin corner kick and that, and not that they don't. I'm sure they do, but that is a real skill.
Pitch to Grice, and that was seen all the way as he gets tackled in the backfield by multiple Bethany defenders. You saw the prolonged pitch. Bethany immediately knew where Nicastro was going.
We didn't have any blockers really out in front of him. That was just trying to use his speed, and unfortunately, Bethany can probably match our speed at many positions. So, now we're second and long. Instead of getting that 4 yards on that first down, we gave up 5 and second and 15.
Augustus puts a man in motion. Back to pass. Plenty of time. And now it is batted down at the line.
Number 5. He looped around. He ran kind of a twist with his inside lineman. He was the defensive end, looped around, and batted the ball down. And that's what the coaches said yesterday. Was he is definitely somebody to contend with, and he got inside that lane and knocked the ball down. Good defensive play.
Daniel Gibson, the one who put his hand up, and that'll set Westminster up with a 3rd and 15, as on the previous play, Augustus had all day to throw. Puts a man in motion, pressure, quick throw to Connor Cox. Cox gets good gain, about 5 yards short of the first down marker.
If we're not looking at such a long situation, that's an excellent play, kind of a middle, I don't know whether you'd call it a screen. You're looking to the outside and bring a man down to the inside and toss it over the middle, and a good play, but once again, just too many yards to try to make up. They've got 10 up. They're
going to try to block it. A long hold, and the kick is away. A perfect spiral. Almost over the head of Wright, who fields it at the 19.
There's a clip.
A huge hit, a clip, and that's a block in the back, taken down to the 10-yard line. That might be 2 penalties on Bethany. At least there is going to at least be 1. But
that was a definite block in the back, and so that's going to be 10 from there, I believe.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 22, receiving team. 10-yard penalty will be enforced, half the distance to the goal. First down.
I believe that was over, if I'm doing my math correctly, that was over a 50-yard punt. He punted from his own 25 and got it all the way down to the 15 to 10.
It was a beauty. It was that perfect spiral, and that ball turned over for him and had a perfect spiral. Now, you know what's interesting? They had 10 up, but they didn't really come. They had 2 coming from the outside in a controlled manner. They didn't really fly in there. So, and now look at the change of field possession.
So punting from the 35, setting Bethany up at their own 4-yard line. Basin in a quarterback gets a good 1 to 2 yard run up the middle.
Good pursuit by the inside down people. The inside down people close that well. Now, we've called his name a couple times today. He's done a very good job of that. Joey Lane. He closed down to the inside. We shut him off and turned him back in and had good pursuit down the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 7, ball at the 9-yard line. If Westminster can get a stop deep in Bethany's own territory, that would probably set up the best field position besides the interception that was taken to the 1 for the Titans. Here's a designed play, draw up the middle for about a 4-yard gain. That'll bring up 3rd down. Again, they go to Basin.
Just choosing, they don't want to throw the ball down there, and the incompleted pass in that, and give them longer situation to have to deal with. And now they're bringing a stocky youngster in, I'm going to say as a lead blocker. They're 3rd and 3, maybe a long 3, and
they are bringing
they've got him in tight to the tackle.
Kevin Thomas is now in to block. Here's a fake handoff. Basin going to take it himself. Gets along the edge and a 1st down.
Beat the tackle out there. The tackler, not the defensive tackle, but the tackler.
And that fake handoff really fooled the Titans as they were thinking that was going to right up the middle. Had him stuffed there, but then you realize, oh wait, quarterback's sneaking out along the right.
Yep. Well executed play by Bethany at a crucial time. Gives them another set of downs to work with.
So after starting from their own 5, they now have breathing room. Ball at their own 21 with 6 minutes left, 1st and 10. Hand off to Wright. Wright gets about a 3-yard gain before he trips and gets a face full of defender there.
We have to remember, Basin is an adept runner. And that's what they're using right now. What they're telling me, I think, is that they don't want to throw the ball. They're going to use Wright, and they're going to use Basin, and they're going to work those two. And it's
Basin now has 7 carries for 37 yards, and remember, he's the quarterback.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But he's also a big running threat. Here he is in a quarterback
rolling
sweep.
left.
Quarterback sweep. And he cut it up inside. He's going to give them a 3rd and short.
3rd and very short. In fact, this is going to be a 3rd and 1. Bethany made some adjustments here in the second half, and so far it's working. Constantly going to Basin instead of Wright.
He's out now, though. And
Salinetro back in the game.
Back in.
This is like a guessing game. It's like a something.
Well,
who's in at quarterback this play? Crowd getting loud. 3rd and 1. Salinetro hands off, and they're going to be stopped. Raekwon Wright stuffed in the backfield. Joey Lane penetrating the offensive line. What a stop on 3rd and 1 for this Titan D.
Oh, that's perfect.
Huge. Forcing a punt.
Bethany were just starting to get it going. Lane comes in, saves the day on, honestly, I would say not the biggest 3rd down, but the atmosphere of this crowd was so fired up on that stop. Kick away, fielded at the 40-yard line. Heading upfield is Pollinelli. Pollinelli almost gets trips up. Now he takes it to the 30, down the sideline to the 20-yard line. That is where the Titans will start on this drive. What a heads-up play. Could have called a fair catch. He was hit as soon as he caught it, but the defender overran him. Couldn't get him on his ankle.
He is a weapon. He is a weapon, as we have many of them. But Bryson Pollinelli is a definite offensive weapon out there, and that's an offensive play when you return that kick. He caught that on the move, and as a coach, I'm always concerned, scared of that catch on a moving kick, moving up on a kick, and he turned that corner.
And now look at this, Shimon Walker in a quarterback. Hands it off up the middle for 2 yards.
it'll be interesting to see what we do with Shaman in here now. He's staying in. I'm looking down here. Okay, I see Nicastro. He doesn't seem to be in any problem.
Westminster giving them a different look, just like Bethany uses 2 QBs. Shaman in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, but that is going nowhere. That was a botched play.
That was a botched play all the way. We've got a Bethany player down.
All the way back.
Linebacker, but there's no penalty. He's just down. That was just not a very clean play whatsoever, Tyler.
So now
we didn't have a good fake. If that was the intention, to get a good solid fake in there. We're 3rd and 13, and that kind of puts us in a precarious situation to start thinking field goal even, because if we would not have a successful 3rd down, go back 7 yards from there, we're at the 27. That's 35. That's a 44-yard. That might be a bit of a stretch.
And the player down was Anthony Fiasco, and that would be a big loss for Bethany if he is not able to continue this game. We hope he's okay. He leads the team in tackles right now.
Okay, Nicastro. Augustus is back in now. Definitely a throwing situation. Doesn't mean we're going to throw it, but definitely
3rd and 14, ball at the 27. At least try to get a few yards to give Cyback another chance. Let's see if they can convert.
Here comes a blitz off the corner.
And there's the blitz. Nicastro rolling right, throws downfield. He's got a man open, incomplete. Connor Cox.
He got hurried just a little bit. He got hurried, not from the blitz. We picked the blitz up from the corner blitz coming out on the side. We had a little leakage inside and hurried Augustus a little too much, and he couldn't quite touch it. It was, so close. We are going to try.
This will be the longest field goal attempt of the day for Cyback.
Again, spotted at the 34-yard line.
Cox.
44-yard attempt.
He's hit from 37 and 38 today. And a flag. A false start.
Well, that'll negate the attempt. I do
believe.
My
goodness.
I do believe that'll change the strategy. Maybe a pooch punt now.
And I don't think Cyback will be able to attempt this. I mean, that would be putting you back at almost a 50-yarder.
32, 7 back, 39, 10, 49-yarder. You know, that's going to stretch some of the very good college.
So the Titans will try to pin Bethany after a insane false start.
Notice the lineup. We've got 3 to the left, 3 to the right, only 3 inside. They've got 4 down linemen inside.
Let's see if this is a fake. I can't imagine it being. Porter gets it away, heading downfield, and a touchback. Had too much front spin on the ball.
Yeah. Good attempt. Good attempt, and definitely the play. Ball comes to the 20 now. We may think, that's only a 30-some yard. Definitely the play. Just as you said, too much front spin and carried it in. And once again, that is really a skill to turn that ball back so you don't get that. And with artificial turf, you're never quite sure how the ball is going to roll. It's really odd. You would think it would tend to roll more on artificial, not necessarily so.
So now Bethany with good field position. Westminster couldn't pin him. Salinetro in at quarterback, handoff to Raekwon. Raekwon gets stopped in the backfield, tried to go up the middle, went outside, and then tried to go back in again.
Our linebacker stepped right up in there and really kind of forced him to take an inside back in there. Now it's 2nd and 12. Lost 2 yards on that, so that's a good thing for the Titans, and we do have them back. They're on the 18, 2nd and long. Are they willing to try to throw the ball from deep in their own territory? Early on, they weren't.
Salinetro hands it off to right, able to find a seam. Gets a good gain, setting them up on a third and medium, rather than a third and long. And I think that was a good play call.
Very good. And he took the inside route. That was a very good cut. You called it, and it was a very good cut.
Pennsylvania needs qualified sports officials for all sort of sports. Without officials, we'd have a lot less to cheer about. Make the call. Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process. And here's a 3rd and 3 from the 27-yard line. Salinetro rolls right, pressure in his face, throws, incomplete.
I'm not sure whether he was thrown to 10 or to 15 on that. It was kind of in between. It was to the outside. I think perhaps, Tyler, we had pretty good coverage, pretty tight coverage, and he tried to slip it into a spot where there was nobody.
And on that play, that is actually good to notice. He did throw to 15, and 15 is Darius Taylor, their leading receiver from last week, who had ice on his ankle earlier in this game, back in.
Well, he had halftime for the trainers to attend to him, and has had some time.
Big 3rd down stop, sends Bethany up with a punt. Punts away, and it will roll. Almost hit a Titan player. That was way shorter than everyone thought. Rolls all the way down to the 29-yard line as one of the players starts trying to breathe on the ball, make the wind move it further. That was Michael Mims. Either that or Joseph Fiasco. So now there's 47 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Very soon it will be the 4th, 14-3.
We have not moved the ball significantly this entire quarter. Have a good play, have a not so good play, have a not very good play at all. Yeah. We've lost our consistency to some point.
Nicastro hands it off up the middle to Hill, who fights his way forward for about a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, going to be 3. 2nd and 7. Rather have that than 3rd and 9, or 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. At least you're moving the ball forward,
It'll be interesting to see how this game plays out, as Westminster have really shared the load whenever it comes to players contributing. On the offensive side of the ball, you have multiple running backs. On offense, with the quarterback situation, you have Augustus DeCastro, Shimon Walker, and they're actually going to let the clock run, facing a 2nd and 7. That is where they will start, up 14-3 in the 4th quarter at their own 32. We'll be right back for the 4th quarter of play. You're watching your home of the Titans, WCN.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin, alongside me Scott Reniger, as we are getting set for the 4th quarter of play. Titans up 14-3, currently have possession, facing a 2nd and 7 at their own 32-yard line. And Scott, I don't think it would be a stretch to say that the defense has kept them in this game, not really giving pressure on the offense.
Well, we've been playing solid defense, even down in Wittenberg, actually. And
fake handoff, rolling right, throw, a jump ball for Javon Hardy, gets hit in the air and gets an 11-yard gain. Phenomenal catch. That may be the catch of the game, if not the Bethany catch.
Their good linebacker, number 6, has to come out for a game, or for a play, because he lost his helmet. So, and he's a threat down in there. And so Javon is out here far to the left side of the Westminster lineup. On the numbers, in fact, we've got a tight formation with motion to trips.
Here's a handoff to Hill. No, it's going to be kept by Nicastro. Oh, and the ball is out. And that, I think, is a live ball. He got hit from behind. recovered by the Bethany defender, and they'll take over at the 46. That was Jalen Hextall who recovered.
He's not well. He's getting up slow. I don't know if it's disgust from
I think he's disgusted. He just, he's
down for a moment in that. But that's, we had not run him, and perhaps that's one of the reasons is that may not be his forte. Defense of him, he took a very hard hit.
Yeah,
that time,
he was not able to prepare for that. The defender
hang
was
on to that ball. Easier said than done, Tyler, but you've got to hang on to that football, and now Bethany has the ball on their own 49. Great field position.
And the Westminster D will again have to keep Westminster in this game, trying to hold Bethany to 3 points. Salinetro back to pass. Pressure in his face, throws incomplete.
I think he saw John Fitzgerald break through because I did not see really a bona fide receiver out here. Number 16 was in the area, but where that ball was, I'm not so sure he just didn't get that out of there and not take a potential sack and a potential hit from Fitzgerald.
So 2nd and 10. And if you're Bethany, you have to get something going. But Westminster have given you gifts in field position, and the D has just held them. Fake handoff, immediately pressure in Salinetro's face, throws it away.
He got outside our end, though. He got outside our defensive end. He was not out of control, number 55 coming in, Nicholas Cassidy. He wasn't out of control, but the quarterback was able to get outside. And anytime they get outside of your defensive ends, Tyler, you've got potential problems because run, throw, it really puts pressure on that secondary and the linebacking crew as well. So good job recovering and getting back in, forcing an errant throw.
And just like that, it's 3rd and 10, back-to-back passes. And again, you said didn't go for the first down run, so you set yourself up with a 3rd and long instead of a 3rd and medium. Here's a screen pass to right. They've done that a lot. He may get along the edge, but he does not. Shoved out at the 46-yard line, and once again they'll have to punt. But in Westminster territory in the 4th quarter, you think they'll go for it here?
It looks, I don't see a punt team. They've got it ready over there, I believe. Here it comes.
And had to wait a little bit.
There's still 14 minutes to play in the second half, in the fourth quarter, the second half. I think this is a good coaching decision on their part, to be very honest with you, because now it could be a fake too. Let's not eliminate that.
John Gossman back to punt for Bethany. It's a perfect spiral. It rolls all the way down to the 1, 2, or 3 yard line. Fantastic awareness by Darius Taylor. Saying his name again, that will pin Westminster officially at their own 4. They will start at their own 4 yard line. No breathing room to work with, and only up 14-3. Again, you're going to have to put it on your offense to get out of that area.
Interesting scenario right there, and the officials are talking. He touched the ball, and they're going to put it on the 4, but he carried it into the end zone. I'm all wet here, I guess, but Shaman Walker is in.
Here's a handoff up the middle. That might be just a 1 to 2 yard gain. Nothing doing there.
Not chancing mishandling the football, and remember, Augustus Nicastro got shaken up on the last play. So is he available? Is he not available? And the other thing, we've got to get out of there. Well, right there, Nicastro was in the game, but they snapped it to Walker.
Walker in the shotgun. Takes the design read himself. Now breaks away, gets up to the first down marker.
First down.
And first down.
Huge
took it himself.
Play.
He waited a little bit. He waited for his blocks to develop, and what awareness.
That's the secret to that. Wait to see things. Don't panic. Don't rush the play. Let it develop, and trust your teammates. And he did. Nice read by Chamois. Nice read.
So now ball at the 15-yard line, some form of breathing room. And again, Chamois still in at quarterback, giving Augustus time to get his head clear. Here's a handoff to Grice. Grice shifts
Picked
his
up
way
about 5
for a 5-yard gain.
A good 4 to 5. A good 4 to 5 certainly shortens that second down call. Well, he's above. That's close to a 6-yarder.
You see Javon Hardy here looking at the sideline for the call. Went to him on the last drive, immediately following a huge catch by him for a first down. Augustus Nicastro fumbled after getting hit in the back on a run. That is why Walker is in right now. Here's a handoff
speed
to Grice. Grice trying to get the edge. Gets to the
got enough
32-yard line for a 12-yard gain.
Sheer speed right there. No shake and bake, no anything, just sheer speed running on an angle. Couldn't quite get the corner turned, but sheer speed brought him out. Nice run, and another big play. Another big play right there. Ball on the 31-yard line now.
So now out of the danger zone, again, going with only the run right now, which is not surprising. We'll see how Bethany's defense adjusts throughout this drive. Walker hands it off to Grice. Grice cannot get anywhere. Stopped for a loss of one.
And it could have been worse. He shook the first tackler. Shook the first tackler, and then the second guy got him, and so it's going to be 2nd and 12. But here we go again with that longer situation rather than short. We're still in a very tentative position here, and it certainly affects Rich DeMayo's thinking.
Walker putting a man in motion, fakes the handoff. Now he's going to try to pass. Plenty of time, throws to a wide open receiver. Paulinelli on a jump catch to the 40.
And that happened because good old Javon Hardy ran a deep post route. Boy, they went flying with him because he had him beat. And here came our receiver in underneath. Nice ball, excellent route. Nicely designed play.
Paulinelli had no one within 10 yards of him. Fantastic play call. And the misdirect created by Javon. So now, the 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's a handoff to Grice, but he will get hit in the backfield for a 3-yard loss.
That end just stood right up the field. Number 13 just sat right in there, squared it in. You know, really textbook defensive end play on that one, Tyler. Set up, squared it inside, didn't turn it so he could get juked or anything, just sat square, then made the play. Shut off Grice's outside route, and then made the play and got help inside as well.
Colin Johnston was the one that made the play. So again, we were talking about timeouts earlier and how Bethany used them all. So far, they haven't used any of their timeouts. And with 9:30 left, Westminster are taking chunks off of this clock in the 4th quarter with all of these runs. Fake handoff throw. Oh, to a wide open player for a 14-yard gain. That's a name we haven't said. Chase Collison. First time we've said the big fella with a huge play.
That was nice. He came across. He was aligned on the right off the right tackle. Came in motion, stopped, set up, and then got a clean release downfield. Boy, slick play, Tyler. Slick play. Nice catch. Nicely tossed by Chamois. Excellent play. Can't say enough about that play, right from the designing of it to the execution of it.
The 240 junior, who's listed as a fullback, was the one on that reception. Here's Chamois, who tries to spin, gets to the line, and nothing doing. 2nd and 10. And again, you got to be careful here. Earlier, Westminster bumped themselves out of field goal range. Earlier, they had to punt. Started at about, what was it, the 24-yard line. Would have been a
illegal
kick.
procedure.
Yeah, would have been a kick that Cyback could make. So right here, make your play calls ones that will not be huge chunks of yardage lost.
We lost on that one, though. Here we are with that 2nd and long, 2nd and 11.
Collison in motion. Here's the fake handoff, and it fooled the defense as Shimon, that's a horse collar tackle, and that should be a flag.
There's your flag.
2nd and 4, and the crowd immediately knew. He had his neck
Face mask.
and face just turned sideways. You could tell immediately that was not a natural way for his head to go. Hopefully he did not strain that. That was about to be nasty.
Could have been. And so that ball was on the 21. We're going to go half the distance.
The distance to the goal. First down.
You're right. That is a dangerous play for that.
So now, after the penalty and the big run by Walker, it sets the Titans up at the 12-yard line, knocking on the door, up 14-3 with 7:50 left in the fourth quarter, trying to break away. Walker still in the game at quarterback. Here's a fake handoff. Keeps it himself for about a 3-yard gain.
Didn't sustain the block. We pulled and hit the man, but we didn't follow through, sustain the block, or Shimon very possibly could be in the end zone on that, Tyler. You've got to make not only contact, but sustain that block, and doggone it, we just didn't get it sustained, and so we end up with 3 yards instead of maybe having the Titan 100 playing the fight song.
It sets him up with a 2nd and 7, and again, you are definitely in field goal range. Could still make it 17-3, but you're looking for 7 points here. Shimon fakes the handoff, going to run backwards, and he runs way too far backwards, taken down all the way at the 22-yard line.
I think we outguessed ourselves right that time. They came in from both ends. They outguessed us on that play. Be very candid about it. They outguessed us on that, Tyler, and the sad fact is we lose about 10 yards.
3rd and 19. They were at the 11. I believe I said that they were at the 7. They were officially at the 11-yard line. Now facing a 3rd and 19. And again, Shimon is still in the game, giving Augustus de Castro as much time as he can along the sideline, trying to heal up. Here's a handoff to Grice. Grice gets nothing.
Cut it inside and well enough, but number 13 was right there once again to make the play at defensive end. He has shut off a number of our plays today. Colin Johnston just playing good, solid defensive technique. Get up the field a yard or two. Don't take yourself out and create a seam, and then shut things down. So here we go with the field goal attempt.
And this will be, I believe, a 37-yard or 38. He's hit a 37, a 38, and a 37. This is pretty much the exact same as the previous ones. From the left hash, it's blocked. The kick is blocked. And Bethany will take over right where the ball was fielded.
And there was nothing wrong with the kick or with the snap, and nothing wrong with the what do I want to say? With the hold. It was just a low driving kick because it was out so far. Take that 11, 12 yards we lost. Now you can put a little more foot under the ball rather than a direct hard hit. Don't know. It's a guesswork, but.
And I swear, I just jinxed the Titans because I was just saying do plays that aren't risky and don't make you lose large chunks of yardage. And what happens? 3rd and 19. You give up 9 yards and put Cyvac out of a comfortable range. Now Salinetro with 5:30 left, trying to get something going. Here's a handoff to right for a 2-yard gain. Bethany down 2 scores.
Now it becomes really critical to play great technique. Don't get too deep. Don't stay blocked. Hit, shed, get to the ball. There's the pass.
Salinetro throws it incomplete. Number 9
again. Now we saw him in the first half be unaware of a ball coming his way, and once again he was unaware of it. So I don't know if that's a misread, if it's a missed route, or if it's just simply the quarterback getting rid of the football because we had some pressure coming.
James Leon hit him as Salinetro threw, that would certainly come into effect. And very quickly, it's 3rd and 8 already. So if Westminster gets a stop here, again, with 5 minutes left down 2 scores, do you think that you then choose to go for it on your own 26?
And you still got your 4
Salinetro
left.
In the shotgun, plenty of time, throws downfield into single coverage, picked off. It's intercepted at the 37-yard line. Aaron Pierce with his first pick of the day, and just like that, Westminster, their D comes up again. And honestly, you could have not asked for a better game by this D, holding them to 3 when the offense stalled and the defense just continued to play.
They are playing a very solid football game to this point, and really that was a critical play right there. Excellent coverage. Not a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and he was able to set it up and really get it out there. That was not a poorly thrown football, just an excellent interception.
Shimon still in the game. Here's a handoff to Grice. Grice takes it outside, cuts back in for about a 4-yard gain, and now this becomes a factor of the clock. If Westminster can keep converting on these runs, and you said making it easier, get that run on 1st down, they could just end the game 14-3 and run this out on a 4-minute drive.
We have enough points right now to win the football game. We keep the football. What we used to like to say was, let's end the game with the ball. Make first downs, end the game with the football. We have the football, Tyler. They can't win. So, end the game with the ball.
Here's a fake handoff. Shimon takes it himself. 1st down and more. Breaking tackles.
Hold on to the ball. That's all you got to do.
You can see 2 players trying to rip the ball out.
And he just held on for daylight.
About a 20-yard run there by Walker.
Excellent play. Had both hands on the football, well secure. I'm not so sure that Augustus Nicastro didn't get a little more shook up. We thought it was perhaps the fumble to discuss with. I'm not so sure he didn't take, because he took a pretty solid hit on that, and we've not seen him since, I don't believe.
Well, you said that he is nursing an injury to his hand. He has been since week 1 against Wittenberg. So hopefully he is not hurt. I mean, Westminster has no rest at home against Case Western next week. Here's a fake handoff and a busted play. Grice thought he was going to get the ball. Walker sacked in the backfield.
I think that might have been a read, and Shimon thought he could duck in, and I don't know that Grice had any room either, but Bryce is, that was just a misplay, and here we go again, like way down here with the not so good play. Now we're in 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14, and so, once again, we may have to give them the football, and unlike the first half, they have all 3 timeouts left.
Collison in motion. Here's a handoff to Grice. Grice stopped in the backfield. No, breaks a tackle, breaks almost 2 tackles, hangs onto the ball as...
But they're just filling right up in there. They're just filling. There's their first timeout. They're just filling. They're just filling those gaps right now. You kind of feel bad for Bryce Hill a little bit because he's not getting any opportunity to exhibit his exceptional speed and quickness right now. They're just filling right up in there as they are playing very technique-wise football, and consequently, they've got us in a 3rd and long. Now, the last thing we want to do is, toss an interception, spit up a fumble. So, that's in Rich DeMayo's mind as well. Safe handling of the football.
And on the last drive that led to this Westminster drive, of course, Salinetro throwing a pick. After that, Bill Garvey was furious, the opposing head coach for Bethany, absolutely furious about the decision. What would you think, Scott?
He had time to throw. And our kid did not make a bad play at all. He made a very good play. Nice interception. He was covered, but he had no pressure on him, or very little. So, they had to throw, though, I think.
And now 3rd and 17. We'll see what they decide to do. It's going to be a pass. And a quick throw to Pollinelli. Pollinelli along the sideline. A big gain to the 41. And will that stop the clock? I think he might have fell out of bounds. Let's see if the clock continues. And it stops.
No, timeout. He was down inside, timeout. So that's number 2. So there's 2:36 left. And they are on the minus 39. I'll tell you right now, from the 40-yard line, I'm thinking I favor the punt.
Same. With 2:36 left, Bethany has one timeout. With the way your D is playing, why not try to pin him deep?
Pin him deep. If it goes in the end zone, they're coming out only to the 20-yard line. They're still 80 yards away. Chance of them giving us 7 yards. Boy, they're going to play good defense, and then they've been playing very good defense. I understand why their coach is so confident about their team this year that they have, and here we are with the punt formation. I don't think that was even much of a discussion.
Dawson Porter's last punt was a boomer. Let's see what he does here.
No rush.
And
puts it up
good
softly.
pin that will fall at the goal line.
Get there.
And pinned at the 1.
Inside the 1.
Wow.
2:28. No pressure.
That was Ian Barr who jumped into the end zone, threw the ball out while he was in the end zone, and then it was fielded, I believe. If that was 21, that was Bryce Hill, but I don't think he is in the game. Unless that was Dwayne Brown. He was either 21 or 24. If it was Dwayne Brown, I'm going to have to give him props, considering I see him in class sometimes.
I can't tell. The guys aren't hovering around the kids and so I can't tell.
Bethany are starting inside their own 1. There is no way.
Still favoring his ankles down here a little bit too, our Hill.
You could not pin them deeper than this. On the half-yard line to start this drive, Salinetro rolls left to the back of his end zone, throws, and catch made along the sidelines. Was able to get 1 foot in bounds. And a first down.
They're moving them. Gives them a little more room because we had them definitely in safety territory there. And I think that's why they went ahead and threw the ball out of there, which is a good sound coaching call.
Low snap, Salinetro, quick throw and
tackles
for about a 2-yard gain.
Number 2 and number 7 were all over that.
Jonathan Woodbury, the tight end,
and
first time we've said his
Billy
name.
Madeha, I think.
On the reception.
2nd and 6.
Salinetro back to pass, quick throw, overthrown, and a diving attempt at the interception was Bryce Thomas, and he had a pick earlier in this game, of course, that set Westminster up at the 1.
For the only touchdown of the day. For either team.
So 3rd and 6, 1 minute and 47 seconds left. Can the Bison pull out a miracle on their end? Salinetro rolls right, throws to the sideline, intercepted, and returned for 6 points. That is the sword through the Bison. Aaron Pierce, the corner, jumps the route to seal this game for the Titans.
And Bethany had to throw the ball. In defense of them, that's not a bad call there at all to do that. But, it's just they had to throw, and Aaron Pierce was just all over it. Excellent read, excellent position, and boy, got his hands on the ball, didn't get nervous, made the reception, and off we went.
Cyback set for the extra point. He's only had 1 extra point attempt this whole game, as all the rest of the scoring have been field goals. 3 field goals by him. 1 of them was blocked. The kick is up. It's good. The 39th annual Lawrence County Band Festival showcased 9 of the county's finest marching bands in spectacular fashion at Newcastle's Taggart Stadium recently. If you missed it, you can still see the entire show every Wednesday through the end of November at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on Westminster's WCN network Armstrong Cable Channel 72 in New Wilmington, and 204 in Grove City, and Comcast Cable Channel 183 in Newcastle. Watch any WCN program on demand anytime online at our WCN Vimeo channel. Just go to vimeo.com/WCN247 and click the follow button to subscribe. There's new and exciting content added all the time. That URL again is vimeo.com/WCN247. And Scott, as we approach the end of this fourth quarter of play, up 21-3 with 1:38 left, Bethany going to get the ball. Honestly, if I'm Scott Benzel, I'm saying give the game ball to the whole defense.
Yes.
3 interceptions today.
You got a pretty good foot into that.
Raekwon Wright fielding it at the 11-yard line for Bethany, trying to cut outside. Gets along to the sideline, spins to the 29.
Yeah, that's, we'll just sit deep now. And I think, when Emily talks to Coach Benzel after the ball game, what comes to my mind is, exactly what you just stated, Tyler. The defense was excellent. There was no question there whatsoever. They really played position football, and we really gave great attention to Raekwon Wright, and really kind of negated his ability in the ball game. I think
Salinetro rolling left, and the catch is made for about a 3-yard gain to Stephon Carter, and we'll stop the clock. And right now with Bethany, I mean, it would take a miracle, but
this game is over, and now it's enjoy tonight, and then start getting ready for Case Western Reserve.
Quick throw by Salinetro, bounces off the helmet of a Westminster defender.
Tipped the ball in that.
Travis Loster had the doink off of his helmet. That ball had a lot of hang time, and that could have been the 4th interception of the game. That was in the air for a long time.
Anytime a ball is tipped, there are more defensive shirts around it than offensive shirts. But
Salinetro, quick throw, incomplete, and a flag on the play. That might be pass interference on Westminster. I saw the Bethany receiver, Darius Taylor, kind of get stopped in his tracks all of a sudden while the ball was in the air.
And that would probably be on Marvin Leversti, I'm guessing.
A quick score update.
White hat here.
During the pass interference, number 7, defense. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
And that was Marvin Liberiste, who has had a relatively quiet game but had a big stop earlier.
Oh, yes.
Score update, Carnegie Mellon up 35-21 over St. Vincent right now. They were up 28-21. St. Vincent does not have a win yet, so if they could pull it off against Carnegie Mellon and come back, that would be huge. W&J, I thought that this was an error, but they are up 62-7 against Grove City. Here's a wide open throw and a huge spinning helicopter tackle made at the 37-yard line. Darius Taylor with a big catch. And we thought he would have been much more of a factor in this game. He led the receptions last week, led the reception yards last week against Waynesburg. Today has been very quiet. And again, he was hurt earlier, had ice on his ankle, so that could have come into play. Salinetro, quick throw along the sideline, and a catch to the 19-yard line.
We don't want to, if they get in.
Hunter Klein
obviously
on the catch.
Got the onside kick looking at you.
Do you think that Westminster is playing more conservative right now, or is this just blown coverages on the defense?
No, they're not blown coverages. That was a well-thrown ball and just a single route. And, I think rather than blowing, I think Bethany is making some plays right now.
58 seconds left. Salinetro, quick throw.
Close.
Almost an interception. Bounced off the ground. Miguel Luis almost coming up with the 4th pick. 3rd down.
we're playing deep, as you can notice, deeper than normal, and that we're not going to, as we say, let anybody behind you. Don't get beat deep, and that, which you don't want to get beat, period, but...
Empty backfield. Salinetro throws, gets hit, and incomplete, as his intended target, Stephon Carter, could not make the catch just over his fingertips, and that'll bring up
Salinetro felt that one too. He's pretty ginger out there right now, Tyler.
Oh yeah, you can see him hunkering over right now.
He took a hit from the backside, clean hit. Very timely, because this referee right here was looking right at the play. It was not a missed call by any stretch, but he's a little...
Yeah, Salinetro limping. You can see he's shrugging right now on 4th down. Drops back to pass. Plenty of time. Throws. Picked off for the 4th interception by Bill Medea.
I think that would have been wise. That was, what, a 4th down play?
Yep, that was 4th down. He immediately caught it and then fell.
Knocked the ball down, because then the ball comes right back up here, incomplete pass. We just lost. Not that it matters. We just lost yardage. Not that it matters at all. That's immaterial, but, down in distance.
43 seconds left, and that will presumably do it, barring a botched snap on a kneel down here. And
we've got a man way back, the victory formation, and so, I don't think Bethany surprised our coaching staff at all. I agree with the assessment. I think we had to pay attention to detail. Emily might want to ask Coach Benzel something along the line that what did we know you gave attention to their speed and athleticism and everything like that, and we played very, very solidly,
and that does it. Zeros on the clock. Westminster pulls off a dominating 21-3 victory over the Bethany Bison to move to 3-1. Bethany falls to 2-2. The final score again, 21-3. We'll be right back with our post-game wrap-up on the home of the Titans, WCN. Welcome back to Bury Stadium. I'm Tyler Helvin. Alongside me, Scott Reniger. Westminster pulling off a 21-3 victory against the Bison. Again, moving to 3-1. The Bison fall to 2-2. And like I said during the game, I think this would be defensive game ball. 4 interceptions for the Titans.
Defense played very, very solid against an explosive offensive unit. Very explosive.
And we are now going to send everything down to Emily Bondi for our post-game interview with Scott Benzel.
Raycon Wright was a big powerhouse for Bethany. What did you guys do to stop him between the first and the second half?
Yeah, he was a big point of emphasis. Last year he hurt us. So all week we're disciplined backside. We made sure that we stayed in our lanes and did a better job this year containing them.
Your defense was very solid today with 4 interceptions. How do you keep the momentum going so you can continue on this win streak for next week?
Well, I mean, it's a team game. So obviously our offense, they weren't as sharp as we need them to be, but that's a credit to Bethany. That's a really good defense that they have. So for us to be the team we need to be, we have to all 3 phases play well. And we got a lot of work to do. I mean, we still have some things to do on special teams and offense. And defensively, right now, we're playing well, but, we're only as good as our last game. So we got to continue to, to get better. That's it.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Go Titans.
Tyler?
So, Westminster able to pull off a phenomenal victory. Again, completely dominating on the defensive side. And whenever their offense couldn't get it going, the defense just consistently just kept holding Bethany. 4 interceptions, and Raekwon Wright, got going late, but held them so much in the first half that it was detrimental.
I think your observation is spot on, Tyler. We kept Raekwon Wright very much under control. He is, as Coach Benzel mentioned right there, he is the complete package, and he puts such pressure on you, and every snap of the football, you have to be ready to stop him, and that's a big burden. That's the defense's job, but that's a big burden. On the offensive side of the football, we came out fast. We really played very well, I think, early on, and then we kind of lost sustaining our blocks a little bit. And I know I'm always critical of the offensive line, having done it for 40-plus years, but you've got to sustain that block, and because we have skilled people, too. We've talked a lot about Raekwon Wright. Don't sell our skilled people down either, because they're very good. So, like Ben said, it's on to next week now. You're only as good as this one. We're going to enjoy this one tonight. Then, by George, it's get ready for a big one next week, Case Western.
That is a night game, in fact, that will be kicking off. I believe it's 7 o'clock against
Correct.
Case Western. I love night games. Night games are really fun. And again, Case Western is a powerhouse of a team. Bethany will be at home against W&J, a big factor for them, trying to get a win against W&J. Leading the receptions today was Bryson Pollinelli. 5 receptions for 83 yards. He was averaging 16 to 17 yards per reception. And when you have stats like that for your star wide receiver, chances are you're going to win.
Bryson can catch the deep ball when we send him deep, no question about that. But he also is excellent at yards after the catch. We hit him on those little crossing routes, flat routes, and he turns them up, and he is really a threat against that. Javon went up and really caught a big ball at that time, and made a couple catches today. He's our speed.
We'll need to keep an eye on Augustus Nicastro. He was out of the game for almost the entire fourth quarter. Shamon Walker came into play. Interestingly enough, Nicastro finished 6 for 15. Walker, 3 for 3. Completed all of his passes.
Yeah. And they weren't all just little dump passes either, those 3 receptions. Shamon is a fine quarterback. It's just Augustus is a very good thrower, and that we just have to wait and see. And of course, tomorrow morning when he wakes up, we're going to find out a little bit more how significant that hit was.
And someone we certainly need to also factor in is the run situation, specifically the running back, the star running back for Westminster. Keanu Grice came in after Bryce Hill got hurt. He never came back into the game. He finished 10 attempts for 46 yards. Grice actually outgained him, 15 attempts for 49 yards. So Westminster were able to get the run game going, especially in the fourth quarter, to close things out. I mean, they ran off how many minutes? 4 minutes on a drive in the fourth.
Oh, yes. We controlled the ball till late down there. So, that was big.
And, of course, we talked about it already, but 4 interceptions for the Westminster defense. You've got just everyone putting in effort for this game, and they're going to need that against Case Western, because Case Western, I believe Westminster have not beat them in years.
Well, I think we've only played them a couple times, but history's not important here, Tyler. It's what do the Titans do next week when we come out of the locker room next Saturday night? We've got a good 1-2 punch with running, and we've got a good receiving core. We have a good pair of quarterbacks, both within their own right, and so we're going to have to just buck up. Now we can start to point. I don't envy Bethany. This was a heartbreaker. They came in here big and going against W&J next week. Tall order, but then I don't root for W&J, or I don't root for Bethany, so I can't concern myself there. But
of course, Thomas was at pretty much the entire length of the game the one player to set up for Westminster's only touchdown of the game. 9 points for John Syback, 3 for 3, of course, kicking. And this was a game where early those came in to a factor a lot, because when your kicker is hitting 3 for 3 and gives you an extra 9 points, that not only puts you, up by a touchdown, puts you up by then a field goal as well.
Oh, definitely, and that. But one thing that concerned me a little bit was that blocked field goal attempt. Not because it wasn't missed, it was blocked, and it was blocked because he had to try to drive the football because we had lost yards just before that, and you already called that. And sure enough, when you have to drive that ball, it's a little different type kick and gives them an opportunity.
Aaron Pierce had 2 interceptions today. Thomas had another. And, of course, linebacker Bill Medea finishing it off in the fourth quarter to end the game. It's funny because this defense did play very well, of course, the 4. But when you look at the stats, they did not sack any of the opposing Bethany quarterbacks between Barlin and Salinetro at all. 0 sacks the whole game.
Of course, I think part of that is they didn't do any deep pocket throwing very much, or they did very little. And so most of their balls were throw those short ones, trying to get that little bubble screen going to their running backs. So I think that was perhaps a factor in that too.
So Bethany alternated between 2 quarterbacks this entire game. It was their game plan, essentially. And Basin, he was 1 for 2. Attempted 1 pass, but he was effective in the fourth quarter. He was a huge run threat.
He is that's, you just said it, that's the essence of their offensive thinking there. One is a definitive runner, and the other is more of a thrower. And we did pop, even though we didn't get sacks, their quarterbacks knew where we were.
So Westminster at home next week against Case Western, kickoff at 7 o'clock, and Bethany at home against W&J next week as well. The final score again, Westminster 21, Bethany 3. This broadcast was brought to you by the Broadcasting and Media Production Program at Westminster College, providing real-world experience in today's media for tomorrow's producers. Also, thanks to my partner, Scott Reniger, and our sideline reporter, Emily Bondi, our entire crew, and most of all, we'd like to thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Helvin, saying so long from your home of the Titans, WCN. Have a great night.